0. Okay, so so we are starting the group policy. We had covered some of the group policy in last week, and we're going to do more. There are lots of things in group policy that needs to be done. These were the steps for the last group policy, plus the video would be there for a reference. So there will be four things that we will be doing, which I can offer. So first thing we did last week was how to implement a group policy, where to go, what to enable, and what commands to give, and where to check, how to check, etc. There are many group policy features. So first will be we already did the link, how to link a group policy. We know that, right? So there's a quiz coming. There's a quiz star website. You have to just create an account there, free account, and then you have to give that quiz. It's a true and false. Let's see how much you know. So it's an open book quiz, so you can just Google it or just call the guys and, hey, what did you give? Okay, so well, I'll ask, and also but yeah, it's better to discuss, to try to know the concept that about so it's for your own good that you try to know the concept behind every question, right? Okay, we know how to link. Then we need to know how to block inheritance, and then enforce, then starter group, then deploying software over the network with GPO. So that's a lot of features. Excuse me. There are many more features there available, but we'll try to cover that, and then we're going to go ahead with other features. There is also auditing. Then there are GPP, which is group policy preference. So I'll just type that, group policy preferences. Okay, so let's see if we can. So laptop's good. Okay, yeah, so let's start. We will first go for block inheritance in the group policy, and try to know the steps there. So steps, and
when you send us steps,
yep.
These steps were different from the one you said.
No, I actually had to copy, and then I had to make it, nice in a Word document. They were different? No. And these were just not organized. Those were organized. But that was just, I was writing to save time. So, okay. But let me know where were the differences, so, I'll check, because you were able to do the task, right? Correctly. Okay. So block inheritance, if I go to the domain controller, so what is block inheritance first of all? Inheritance. In parent OU, there's a parent OU, there's a child OU, there's a child OU. So parent OU is accounts, for example. And you have a secretary there, then you have users and computers in different branches. So accounts have branch, for a company, there are branches. So Toronto accounts department, or some people are sitting for accounts department in New York, some people are sitting in London. So you will create all those sub OUs. So if I create accounts OU, then I create child OU, Toronto, then I create child OU called London, then I create child OU called New York. So suppose there are many child, and each OU has users and computers, of course, that's understood. OUs are supposed to have users and computers because we have policies just for users and computers there, right? So if I put a policy here on the top, accounts OU, which is block desktops, our favorite policy so far, and it will inherit to, so all the child OUs will inherit that policy. That's by design, right? Now the New York administrator gets angry. What? How dare you put you block desktop policy on my user? My CEO is my friend, so no, I'm not gonna take that. So I'll use this block inheritance feature because he's an administrator and CEO's friend. So you as a top administrator are quiet for now, and you discover later that, oh, okay, he blocked my policy. Okay, I'm the top guy here in IT, and he's blocking my policy. Anyway, so the story goes on, but let's just do that first. So I'm gonna go to our machines, server 1, and excuse me, and first login. And I'm going to use the feature block inheritance. For that feature to work, I need to have parent OU, child OU. One user in parent OU, one user in child OU, right? So let's see how our structure right now is. If I go to tools and Active Directory users and computers, do we have an accounts OU? I think we have, right? Everyone has, right? Accounts OU. And we have 2 users for now, but we want to check inheritance. So I'm just going to right click accounts OU. Everyone there? Server 1. Everything's going on server 1 inside Active Directory. Okay. So organizational unit. Everyone there? And so it will be Toronto. Toronto accounts. The parent OU is accounts. So now it's Toronto accounts. Press OK. Now we have child OU called. So I'll right click again the accounts parent OU. I'll just create simply another child OU, which is New York accounts. Toronto accounts, New York accounts. That's it, right?
Again you click account.
Yep. Press OK. So 2 child OUs created inside. So now I'm going to go to the steps. So create a child OU called Toronto accounts, and another child OU called New York accounts. Okay, next step would be simply transfer. We created 2 users, right? User 01, user 02. So transfer user 02 to Toronto accounts OU, because we want to see the effects of block inheritance. So user 2 should not be, after blocking the inheritance, user 2 should not have the desktop blocked. User 1 will still have the desktop blocked because parent OU has that policy enabled and child OU does not have. So let me show you that first. So accounts has 2 users and 2 child OUs, right? And now I'm just going to right click user 2. What we need to do, we need to transfer user 2 to user 2 to Toronto account. Right click, move. We can drag and drop as well.
Can we copy and paste or no?
Copy actually copies this account to create another account.
Oh, so we have
Yeah. We can drag and drop or move. Yeah. So move, right click the user 1. So I just right click user 2, sorry, user 2. Everyone there? Move to where? Expand the accounts and go to Toronto accounts. Right click user 2, move. So 2 guys are not falling. They're not falling? Okay, so you were not able to do the lab?
No, I just didn't find it.
Oh, okay. Okay, try it for the next week too. And the videos, you were able to see the videos and everything, steps. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's recording right now. So Toronto accounts, press OK, and now we have one user inside Toronto account, and one user one is in the parent OU, and Toronto account's child OU has user 2. So this means that our group policy management should be reflecting this OU structure. This is, we are inside where? Active Directory, users and computers. Now if we want to put policies or change policies, so where do we go? Where? Tools, group policy management. And let's go ahead. So there is GPMC and then there is GPME. The difference is console and editor. So group policy management console, then when we open the policy, the group policy management editor opens, right? So this is GPMC opened right now. And any policy, when we try to change the policy, it's GPME that opens.
We cannot open GPME directly, right?
So we can open.
When you go back to tools, you have to close this window.
No. Minimize the previous windows and that's it.
Minimize.
Yep.
Then go to tools.
Tools, group policy management, GPMC,
Yeah.
and domains. So once it's open, let's go for mydomain.local. Now we have two policies here already. So I'll just expand this, and mydomain.local is there. First default domain policy, which is by default, so we don't need to do anything here. This is for the whole domain, some Microsoft recommendations for the policy. If you want to see what the policies are, we go to settings.
But this default policy, is this in effect or no?
Yeah,
It is, right?
it is
By default.
by default. Whatever basic domain securities need to be implemented are there.
But we can change that also.
Oh yeah, and yeah, we should be very careful, but yes, we can change. Click add. If you see this add, so what I did was I went to default domain policy just to have a overview what policies are there. So computer configuration has lots of policies implemented there. So I went to settings. Settings show for any policy what policies are already implemented there. Instead of going to computer configuration, then going down through the hundreds of policies and seeing which is enabled, which is not. This shows you which are enabled and where is the path for those policies, right? If you want to quickly see that, yeah.
What are we adding?
So for now, what we are doing is, so you have done.
I clicked add, right? I went into that window, but I don't know what's the website. You have to choose something.
You click.
Just click add.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. So right now, where we wanted to go, accounts, and then expand that. Now it should reflect our two child OUs, right? New York and accounts. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, we know that user 2 is in Toronto accounts and we need to block it. So how do we do that? We need to block what? So inheritance of what? There is a block desktop for everyone. You're all able to see that in group policy management.
Yeah.
Under the accounts, there is a block desktop policy already configured, right? We need to block this for whoever is inside Toronto accounts user, whoever, whichever. So right click and right click the Toronto accounts and just click the block inheritance until you see that arrow, until you see that exclamation mark blue, or if you right click again, there is that arrow. This means it's enabled now for this, right? So right click and block inheritance, click that. Now what is the command we are supposed to give every time we make a change in?
GP updated to force.
Yeah, GP update / force.
Force, right? Like it.
Okay.
There's a-
You know? No, it's okay. You can show.
When you right click on the Toronto accounts, in the menu there is an option also, group policy update. So is that the same thing?
Group policy update just updates the policy. For this one, force means whatever
In the domain.
in the domain. Just force whatever is there. Force anything that changed.
Okay, when I do right click on the block desktop, I'm getting the same edit and force link and everything
When you right click,
on the block desktop.
no, you're supposed to not right click block desktop. Okay. So I'm going to go to the command prompt cmd. Okay, this time when it opens, hey, so always we have to do 2 or 3 steps for going to the command prompt. Right click the command prompt and just pin this program to taskbar. So next time just click it from here, command prompt, because we need command prompt every time, right? So pin this program to taskbar. So now when you close this, it's always there, this on the taskbar, command prompt, right? Okay, so the command is gp update /force, right? /force and update. That was a good question. If we just put update, it's going to update the current policy, right? If you update /force, the whole thing will get updated. Suppose you have some test policies you don't want to update. So there's a scenario for everything, right? There's a reason for every switch to be created because of scenarios. So maybe there are some policies that you don't want implemented now, but you created those. So don't go for /force then. Okay, completed successfully.
Yeah.
Now we need to do what? Go for, so user 1 should still have block desktop. User 2 should not have block desktop. This means when you log in from user 2, you should be able to, and you should be able to do right click, and it should open the menus. But when you log in from user 1, you should not be able to do anything. Yeah. Block inherit define. So it blocks the inheritance of policies implemented on parent OUs. So it could be any OU above our current OU. So block inheritance simply blocks the policies, inheritance of policies from the parent OU. Yeah, so it will block wherever you started the block. Below that it will not affect. Above that only till there it will affect. So it will start blocking from where we started the block
But we
to the child OUs.
We could have separate policy for Toronto accounts, right? No policy.
Yeah, we can have.
We can have
We can link any separate policies too.
separate policy also.
Yeah. So if I go to, for the record of the video, if I log in from user 1, I should not be able to, if it comes today. My super slow drive SSD is doing its time. Okay. So administrator, no, I did not implement that on this. So I'm just logging to user 1 and log on servers. Seriously. CANIPS, yeah. So CANIPS / administrator. So everyone, did you try user 2? You are able to do that? You're able to right click? Everyone tried that? Log into user from user 2? Yeah. Oh, I don't have login servers. Okay. I'll have to restart. So I'm just going to quickly log in from, so it's only me restarting because I don't have that logon servers available. But you have to just log in from user 2 and you should be able to do what? Yeah. So the desktop should not be blocked on user 2. While on the parent OU, the policy is still effective. You blocked it on the Toronto OU, Toronto accounts OU level. So user 2 is part of the Toronto accounts OU, so it should not inherit that policy. Okay, that recycle bin is the first thing that is not there if the policy is implemented, and it's supposed to not be implemented, so this means recycle bin is supposed to be there.
So can we check user 1 as well?
Exactly, that's the next step. Check user 2 first, log off, then check user 1, and it should not have the recycle bin. So, yep. Yep. For the above OUs, for the users and computers above, in the above OU, parent OU.
So the policy will still exist for that?
Exactly.
For the one where we started?
Yeah. So whichever level we started, from there onward downwards, it won't be implemented. You have effectively blocked inheritance, right?
So is it just ease of use? That's why it gets used? Or
Taking
taking away that policy from that OU using block?
Well, maybe it's a scenario where only that part of the user and computers for certain time do not need to use that because of some auditing going on, because of some checking going on, because of some special software in special circumstances where you're installing some new software like Oracle or any third-party software that is in direct conflict with that policy.
Right.
So it could be any scenario where you want to block temporarily
Yeah.
or politically. That, I'm CEO's friend, so I don't care.
So, how will I
Yeah.
log in as a user through or a DC?
Oh yeah. So if in your case it's a DC, so if I go to user 2, I'll just promote this to a general.
You can still log in through the other domain controllers, though.
From?
You cannot, from one domain controller.
Login from which account?
If he logs in from these server 2,
With which account?
with user 2,
He can log in? No, he's not supposed to log in. Because user 2 is our domain. So see this, double click. If I double click that and go to members, member of, it's just a domain user, right? So I want this user to have domain admins or administrators group privileges to be able to log into a domain controller. In your case, so click add. If you double click that user 2,
okay.
so double click that user 2,
Hold on.
so
He's still not in.
okay.
Still user.
So this is an extra thing that we know that domain users are not supposed to log into domain controllers. Domain user members are not allowed to log into. So you're adding your user 2 to administrator, domain admins group? Okay.
You go in.
Please refresh that because the user in account. So Toronto and New York is like a child.
Yeah. So
We did the block inheritance on the parent user.
right.
User one.
So this is accounts for you. Then it has its own users, computers, population. Now in Toronto, the accounts department has its branch there as well. Also, this Toronto branch also has accounts users. So Toronto accounts OU, we create 4 Toronto accountants. So there's a OU here, and the accounts users and the computers they are using, so they are there. Then you have also another branch, New York. So we created New York accounts because we have some accountants there in New York as well, in the New York branch. Those accountants have user accounts and they are using the computers as well. So that's why for organization, whoever is related to, whichever users and computers related to Toronto, to accounts OU, organizational unit or accounts department, in any branch of the company, we have created organizational units separate according to their physical location. And we have dragged those users to, if they are in Toronto, then in this OU we have dragged them. So we could put a policy, maybe for accounts people, there's a policy that they should not print more than 1,000 pages because they print a lot. So you could just implement the policy on the parent OU here, and the policy would be inherited by all the child OUs. Wherever those accountants are, they will all inherit that policy from one place, right? So that's why we create organizational units for that. So in our example, what we did was we have user 1. Okay, in parent OU, we have user 01. So that's parent OU. This is child OU, and this is child OU, and user 1 is here. Then we dragged user 02 here. Now we implemented on this level the block inheritance, right? So on this level we implemented It simply means whatever policies were implemented, and the policy was to block desktop for all users in this OU only. So this was just attached to the parent OU, this policy, block desktop for all users. So we try to test this feature of block inheritance only on a child OU, this child OU. So once we blocked it, the users above this, the parent OU, these users will still have that policy implemented, but the policy will not be inherited by these OUs, this OU only. Will the policy be inherited by this OU?
Yes.
Yeah. I think so.
Yes. So this OU, the user in this OU does not inherit the policy. Will the users of this OU not inherit the policy as well?
Yes.
They will not inherit the policy. Now I have changed the question.
They will inherit.
They will inherit. You're saying they will inherit this, but they will not inherit. Why?
What?
Why is the difference?
Too confused.
Because the guardian,
Whatever is happening to Toronto accounts will happen to New York.
Oh, why?
Because you blocked the inheritance, and that's the
I blocked inheritance for who?
for user for Toronto account.
Exactly.
And then that child.
This child OU is a child OU of
yeah, this will not.
this.
will
This is not a child OU of this guy.
Oh, okay.
So
then
this will inherit the policy because we never blocked it for this guy.
Oh.
They are all on the same level. Now if I create a child OU for these guys, I will go under this and create a Toronto downtown accounts. So maybe there are in Etobicoke, maybe there are in Scarborough, and then there are downtown branches for this. So I will create another OU if I had to. But this OU will also block inheritance. This OU will also not get, the users of this OU will also not get inherited with that block desktop policy.
So, when you create a Toronto account, right?
Mhm.
You have to right click on Toronto.
Exactly.
New one that.
Exactly.
Like that.
So if I right click on this level, whoever is a child OU of this OU will also not get the parent policy because it was blocked on the above level. Whichever OU is down here will be effectively blocked as well with this policy. Will not get a policy. But this guy is not a child of this. This guy is a child OU of this parent OU. Yeah. So if I drag a user here to New York and then at once check, you won't be able to right click. The block desktop will be implemented, right?
Still it will be.
Yeah. For who?
What
this guy.
was the block desktop? So nothing shows up on a desktop. Is
Yep.
that what it is?
You're not supposed to right click.
I can still write that.
For user 2,
User 2, yeah.
which is dragged to which OU?
Already closed.
And did you put a
Before the
group policy update? GPO update / force.
Yeah.
So user 2, you're able to, anyone is not able to right click? You're supposed to be able to right click. Are you able to right click for user 2?
Yes.
All?
You're supposed to be able to write it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My God, it's the opposite.
Yeah. So there's a difference here, and once you implement the policy on thousands of users, you should be very careful what you're doing, right? So if you're blocking somewhere, who's gonna get what out of this? So that's why there's always a test environment. Test it. You're sure now? Okay, implement it. Anything on group policy affects at once thousands of users at once. So yes, it's very tricky, and that's why we should have a test lab available all the time. Okay, so we now know that block inheritance works. Then that you as a system administrator, top guy in IT, discover, oh, those guys in New York or in Toronto are doing this. No, I don't agree with that. Maybe he's friend of CEO, who cares? So what you do? You right click the policy. So everyone go to server 1. You're on server 1. You are seeing group policy management. Everyone seeing that, right? So while the policy block inheritance policy is implemented effectively, you discover that what you do, right click the block desktop like this, right? Now what you do, enforce. If you enforce the policy on the parent OU, what will happen? It will be implemented even though the block inheritance is selected. It will ignore the block inheritance and it will be forcefully implemented throughout the last child OU. So enforce is the weapon for the top admin. From the top, you see that so many child OUs on certain levels have blocked inheritance, and I never authorized that. So go enforce. Hey, this will be implemented whether you block it or not. If you block it, it's not going to be effective anymore once I enforce this. So right click the block desktop policy and click enforce. Everyone did that? Now what do we do? Next step, /force, and then we check, we log out from user 2 and log in again and tell me the results. So first GPO update /force, and what should be the expected result? Yeah, user 2 now must not be able to right click, right? So oh yeah, I was gonna enforce already without even checking the, yeah, yeah. It's now it's implementing even though block inheritance is there, but enforce simply denies that, cuts that. User 2. So but you have to, in order to check what you do, log out and log in again. Group policy is implemented when user is logging in. At that time it gets implemented, right? It right now it must not, you should not be able to right click. Is it this case? Uh-oh. So GPO /force.
It's still,
Yeah.
although we enforce the policy, it still shows an exclamation mark on the Toronto accounts. Is that normal?
Yeah. On where? I'm going there now.
The Toronto accounts OU.
Toronto accounts, exclamation mark is there. No, exclamation mark will not be removed. Enforce only simply enforces. Yep. So okay, I'm logged in from administrator. Why am I not able to log in from? So I'll just go back to user sign out. No, administrator. I was in with administrator. User 2. What? This is mucho ridiculous. Okay. Let me check the network card. VMnet 12. Okay, I'm on VMnet 12 for CANIPS. Host only. That's why my network card setting has betrayed me. Host only. Host only. Okay. User 2. That's why there were no logout servers. Okay. So right now, since I enforced it, so I am not supposed to be right clicking. I didn't check for that. So if I go while it's logging in today, I hope it logs in. So transfer 02 to Toronto OU. Then we then right click Toronto OU accounts OU and select block inheritance. Oh, I should not have made those columns. Anyway, then do the command gp update /force and check on server 02 if you can right click or not. We are supposed to be able to, wow, that was a long one, right click as parent policy has been blocked. Okay. Yeah.
There you mentioned transfer user to the Toronto account, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna mention how to do it when you do it kind of step by step.
Right click, move and transfer. Okay. Yeah, sure. In fact, I will do it when I'm sending you the document, because there I'll be in more details at home. Right now, okay. So I'll just make a note here that detailed steps needed. No problemo. Okay, do the command GPO tracer force. What else? Then go to parent OU policy. So this is right click the policy, right? We need to, in order to enforce, we need to right click the policy. In order to block inheritance, we need to right click the OU, the container. So go to parent OU policy and then right click it, and then what? Click enforce. Then give command gp update /force, and then check. Then go to server 02 and sign out first. Make sure you sign out. Some people, if the user is logged in, you can also give command GPO force on the client as well. Maybe you don't want to sign out because in production environments there are Excel files open and lots of files open, and you want to check the command now that implemented or not, group policy. So maybe in some scenarios user will say no, I'm not signing out, but you need to know the result now. So GPO force sometimes implements even without signing out and signing in. Sometimes don't count on it.
When you apply GP, right, admin has to log in to this computer remotely, or how do you check it?
In order to check,
Like my case,
we can, yeah.
we change it to a member, right? And then we check it.
So in your, this is a special case. This is never the case in any production environment, right? So it is supposed to be just a member server, as we did in the last labs, that we removed it as well. So in your, so this is a special case. But when we implement this, we must have checked it 2 or 3 times in the labs, in our test labs. In production environment, that's how we do that. We test in the production environment, and then we implement a production environment. And once you implement it, it should have implemented. And if you don't receive any call, this means it was okay. Or you will tell the desktop guys, you're the system administrator. So you will tell the desktop guys, hey, check if anyone has any issues. So, and because this was implemented and this is areas, can you check randomly 2 or 3 users? Either they complaint or you send as desktop guys. So these are 2 ways only.
Is there a tool?
Yes, there is a tool.
That's on the computer.
So how will they check? They will check to RSOP or GP result. There's a tool called GP result. We're going to go there. So that's a good question. So GP result will tell you, but it's going to take a little time for the client, and normally clients always are busy and they say, hey, just hurry up because I don't have an issue. So if you're just checking, can you check on my lunchtime or something? But GP results tells you for that what policies are implemented on that particular computer in thousands of computers, if you want to check just one randomly. Or just right click in case if the desktop was blocked, or administrator will tell, hey, just go there and check that and come back if you want to check. Otherwise we rely on nobody called, okay, we're cool because we tested it 10 times. Okay, anyway, sign out and sign out and sign in. But because we really want to see it now, signing out and signing in is the best effective way to check a policy, right, in our test lab. But you can test with GPO force if you feel lazy to sign out and sign in. Like, sign out? What? Anyway, so sign in, and what's the expected result? you should be able to right click on desktop. Bingo. Hey. Yep. No, it was my mistake. But yeah, I was checking if you're paying attention. Yeah, just you. All others are okay. No, but thanks. You should be able
He
to.
was right.
Yeah, I was noticing. Okay, not be able to right click on desktop. Okay, that done. There's another feature that is very important there, and it's called starter GPO. We're just going for first the easier one, then we're gonna go for difficult because I don't want to go step directly to the difficult ones.
So
And
as this on this side is written block desktop. What
Yep.
policy we gonna apply, right?
Mhm.
That will be showing on this side.
exactly. So let me click there, block desktop, and okay, we can just say this for the pop-up do not show because it will show every time. We want to see that we create a policy, but what policies, what options from the 2000 plus options we enabled, right? So if you click there, block desktop or any policy, and go to settings, then that area it will show that in computer configuration we did not set anything, but in user configuration there is. If we go to policies, then if we go to administrative templates, and if we go to desktop, this policy is implemented here. So we know the whole path from here. That's a good question that you want to pick up, see the path. There was a test in another course for this policy. So I just told them go for block desktop. They forgot, everyone forgot that where it was.
What's
So
the difference between, I mean, what is this administrative template? So I don't understand this because
administrative,
going to group policy, there's settings for,
yeah, there are different
software.
templates.
So this is a template.
So this is a template for OS, for Windows server line OS and client OS. So when we say template, what does it contain? All the policies for enabling or disabling the features of, suppose, Internet Explorer, any feature of Internet Explorer, or any feature of networking, any portion of the operating system.
Okay.
You want to enable, disable anything there, or make modification. So that is all inside this template. If we remove this template, we won't see those options of double click and enable, double click and disable, or not configured. We won't see those options if we remove this template.
So if
Then there's a security template. Then there are other templates for MS Office separately. Then there are templates for Adobe Acrobat as well.
So the software configuration and there's another thing, I don't know. Windows, I think there's a software configuration and a Windows configuration, something like that. They're different from this?
So software configuration, where that's the deployment side. You're talking about this, right? If I go to edit, and we're gonna do the fourth one is this.
Yeah.
If I go to policies, you're talking about this, right?
Yeah, software
Oh.
settings and Windows settings. So
Well, so you're really flying actually. We're going there. We're reaching there. This is our fourth lab.
no, that's fine.
So we're gonna talk in detail.
One more question.
Yeah.
Like as you said, we have 2000 policies, right? I'm going to apply one policy, but how will I know the policy I'm going to apply? That's a default, it's already built in, or no?
The policies are always there.
All the policies.
So suppose the management says, hey, I don't want them to open the command prompt, and we don't want these things. There may be 5 or 6 items they want to block. They are non-technical people. They just say block those because we found some threats there and there. We heard about that in magazine or somewhere. So you are given the task of finding out how to block the network, how to block command prompt, how to block USBs, how to block 3 or 4 more things. Now you as a technical guy, no, we don't know exactly where they are always. We're gonna go where? First thing, Google. But if we are a large company, we can call Microsoft as well. Or Microsoft consultant will say, hey, just go there. Even he will Google. But he's not gonna mention that. I found that many times. We are stuck. Oh, can you? Yeah, they also Google, man. One Microsoft guy who joined our company later, so he was saying the same thing. Users ask about, okay, where is that thing? There I go. I don't find that. So yes, sir. I'll just tell you now. and on the other machine I'm doing Google screenshots. Okay, sir, it's there and da, 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 da,
The
da.
knowledge base is all on the internet. No.
But TechNet site, technet.com, is Microsoft's technical site. TechNet, TECHNET.
Technet.com.
Yeah. So how would I search? So if I ask you block command prompt now, you have no idea out of 2,000 policies where is that. What would be your first step? I would go for Google and check block command prompt Windows, what version? Maybe it's 2003, maybe it's 2012, maybe it's 2008. So Windows version, Windows 2012, and then group policy, and you got lines of, hey, go there, oh, there it is, cool. This is it. Google is our best teacher, and it saved many times my job. Many times, not one time. But we cannot remember where they are. We cannot. Yeah.
And what about technet.com?
TechNet is Microsoft's all technical articles about all the technologies that Microsoft have released. So there's a TechNet for Windows. So if I open this, I sometimes I just go directly to TechNet because I know that I will find TN this. So technet.microsoft.com. So step by step. So Windows deployment services. Today, if we get time, but definitely tomorrow we will do this. So I already have opened this article, technet.microsoft.com. It has, step by step details of implementing it. But because it's from vendor always makes it very professionally. So it misses many of the steps that we need to actually get up to this environment. So that's where the instructors come. But it has step-by-step instructions to install Server Manager, or how to do it with PowerShell. So technet.microsoft.com, go to search and type. If your searching capabilities are good, you will find it in first shot. Type it correctly
Like I said, you must have capability.
to search for.
What I do when I put in the Google, there are a lot of options come up.
Yeah.
So which one I should pick?
So your search should be smart. That's it. As I said, that can you find how to block command prompt? Not now. So at home, can you come up with that policy how to block command prompt? Have an assignment for that. So I'll send the steps. But however you do it, I already tell you that if you give it to me, I'll go to Google and type what? Block command prompt Windows 2012 R2, not 2012 only. Mine is R2 and group policy, 3 words. I'll have, okay, it's not going to be the first one. In most cases, you have to go for 5 or 6 links and you'll find it at once. So we do it all the time, for every day we do it. This is our way of getting quick information and implement it. Okay, sorry, it's solved. Go. So everyone's happy, and where to go for Google. Anyway, so TN, I am able to search this Windows deployment tool, and I will send this link for a reference because it has detailed steps for each and every step, but it's still missing when we come down to creating a lab and actually doing it, right? So TechNet, but Google Smart Search, your words will take you directly. What words you type will give you the result as soon as possible. You have to change your wordings if you're not getting relevant results. You have to change your wording. Okay. So if I go to starter GPO, so the concept behind starter GPO is, this is clear, right? So the company says that whenever you create new GPO, implement these policies. Whenever you create a new GPO, right? So, and the policies are block CMD, block USB. For example, this was all blocked in my previous job where I was doing work in a university, right? So, block CMD, block USB, block network settings, block D drive or DVD or CD-ROM. So whenever, suppose there's a company policy, now every GPO you create, you will have to block these. So maybe there are, C, D, E, F, G, H. There are many policies here, different policies to block. So whenever you create a new GPO, you have to go to these places and always block all these policies, suppose. Now, you don't want to do that every time. Maybe you are getting assignments for different branches, and nearly every third or fourth day you have to create a new GPO. Then, so these are the company policies. Then the department requested to create a GPO, right, for them. So they requested maybe 4 or 5 of their own policies. Accounts department requested some more policies to be implemented. Management department requested some more policies to be implemented. Then security department asked for their department OUs more policies implemented. So their set of policies, when they requested, when you create a GPO for that, you have to implement these company policies, company standards as well. So that's a lot of policies now. You don't want to do implement all these 7 whenever, suppose accounts department said just create one policy separately for that child OU in accounts department in New York, and it will have just one blockage of Internet Explorer, just for that branch only. When you start, it's just one thing you enable, but you have to add, you have to go through these 7 policies as well. So for any new GPO creation request, you have to implement company standards first, and then implement the actual request, right? But this is a headache then. So instead, why don't we have a starter GPO, a GPO that has all those policies already implemented. We create a GPO. It has all these company standard policies already implemented. So company standard policies already implemented. So whenever you create a new GPO, the only thing you have to do is what? With all new GPOs, simply connect a ready-made starter GPO. So the policies, these policies, as soon as you connect this already created GPO to any new GPO, all the policies inside the starter GPO will automatically get added to any new GPO. You don't have to touch all those 7 policies every time when you create a new GPO for any department, right? So with all new GPOs, simply connect a ready-made starter GPO. It will automatically add all policies to the new GPO. That's cool. That saves us a lot of time.
But we're assuming that these policies have not been implemented already. Or because when we are creating a new GPO,
Not on a domain level.
not on a domain level. Okay.
It's for any GPO implemented.
Because
Maybe
if these have already been implemented, then what's the use?
that's a very good
of doing
question.
that, right?
why don't we, if there are standard policies, why don't we implement it on domain wide already and it gets implemented on everyone?
To restrict someone to doing something.
Yeah. So why don't we implement it on a domain level just once, because it's a company standard. So always everyone should have this. So if I show you this is a default domain policy. Whatever changes you make here implements on everyone in the domain. All OUs, all child OUs.
So that means we should apply these two policies first on a small group.
So these company standard policies are available. So you would never want this policy to be implemented on domain controllers. If you put it on domain top level, it's going to implement on administrator, it's going to implement on enterprise admins, backup operators, it's going to implement on those privileged users which are doing critical tasks right now, or if you put it on domain level. That's why, but you want this policy to be implemented on just domain users which have no privileges across making any changes in the domain level, right? So that's why we cannot implement it on a domain level, because all privileged users will also get that, who needs those services actually, right? So that's why we would not implement that. So then you have to implement it on any new GPO which is affecting domain users. We are assuming that already, that those are just regular users. So if they are regular users, yes, implement this. So what we do, the steps are that we have to create a starter GPO first. We're going to make some changes. We're going to make some make-believe changes, and then we're going to create a starter GPO, right? It will have some policies enabled. Then we're going to create a new GPO. So the steps, major steps will be, now I need a fourth color. Major steps would be what? Create a starter GPO, then first create a starter GPO, then put some, enable some policies. Now create a new GPO. Fourth major step would be attach the starter GPO with the new GPO. These are the four major steps. How do we know that those policies have been added to the new GPO? We're just going to go to the new GPO later, and we're going to check that the policies inside starter GPO have been copied to the new GPO. That would be our result. Okay, the policies have been shifted there, and we didn't have to touch those company-side policies which we always have to implement on every new GPO. So if they are there in the new GPO, okay, starter GPO is working fine, right? Any questions? Because we're going to start anyway.
So from your saying, I could get that we have to, every company has standard GPO, and all the time, today I applied one GPO.
Standard policies, yeah.
Standard policy, sorry. And today I applied the new policy, and tomorrow again I'm coming to do one other policy. Then again I have to run the standard.
So GPOs are, when you create a GPO for accounts, you can implement any combination of policies, like block USB, block DVD, block CMD, block network. So policies are inside the GPO. So whenever we are creating a new GPO, which can have a combination of policies, then we don't have to go to these paths and especially click those paths and enable them. So another ready-made GPO we have to just attach to any new GPO here. For the accounts, management or security, when that starter GPO attaches, it will copy all the files, all the policies. So there is a GPO and then there is a policy. So main thing that is created is GPO. Inside GPO, you enable policies. Yeah. somebody was raising. Yeah.
So basically, the starter GPO is just a quicker method of applying a bunch of policies to whatever user or whatever account.
Yeah.
Instead of going one by one and adding policies.
There are some policies that you have to enable
Is it like a script?
All the time.
Created?
all the time for every new GPO. Sorry.
Is it like a script you created and then it's been used everywhere?
We can take this as an example. Yes, it could be a script. It just like if we had a script, and whenever you do something new, you have to first run that script, and then only you can do that new thing.
My question: default domain policy is applied domain wide, and it applies to the domain admins and everybody, right?
Yep.
It's at domain level.
It's anyone inside this domain.
And when we are creating a new GPO, these domain policies don't show there. Default domain policies, right?
No.
They don't show there.
No. They are already implemented.
We
The
cannot
portions
change
of those are implemented.
Oh, okay. So we cannot change these.
No, we should not.
We should not.
We can.
But we should not.
Yeah, technically we can.
Oh.
Let's do it, and then we're going to understand a little more how it is done. But when we are creating a new GPO, so we are now first we're going to create a starter GPO, and we're going to enable certain policies, not these, certain policies. All we need to make sure is when we create a new company GPO, whenever we create a new GPO for any department, these policies should automatically also be added to those department GPOs. We don't have to go click to those areas when we are creating a GPO for the department. So, yeah,
To save time.
to save time, exactly.
So we do have one policy that's a company policy, GPO standard.
Starter
which is
GPO.
already there.
Which should be already there
Should be
if
already
the
there.
bosses say this has to be implemented.
And then we create a starter GPO which attaches that policy to the new ones which we create. Right?
So the steps, yeah, we're going to do that. It's a little different from what you said, but the concept is exactly the same.
But you know what? The only one confusion
Yeah.
I have
Mm-hmm.
when I asked you.
Yeah, yeah.
I know these are standard. You wait one time to save the time. Right?
Yeah.
And we apply.
Now we create a new GPO for departments.
Yes. So next time after 1 month, I have to try one more policy.
Yeah. One more GPO.
Yeah. So I have to add these ones or no?
Whenever you create a new GPO, you have to add these. Always.
All the time.
This is the company policy. This starter GPO is for that. That if you have to implement some certain policies every time you create a new GPO, so just use a starter GPO instead of that. And this was introduced in 2008. It was not in 2003. So administrators of 2003 they used to, if they were company policies, they had to manually go there and do all those for any new GPO as a company policy that we have to add these
What's the
plus
reason,
the. Huh?
What's the reason behind that? We are adding this all the time. What's the reason?
No, this is a company policy.
Because what he's saying is the same question I asked you before.
Mhm.
If they are already applied to certain computers or users, why do we have to add them again, in a starter
You don't have to
GPO?
add them again.
We don't have to, right?
Yeah. If they are already there and you reapply the same policy,
Simply connect.
it's just going to be connected,
You have to connect
implemented.
all the time, right?
So
all the
no,
time.
we haven't done the lab. That's why it's a bit confusing. Let's do the lab, so we will understand more. Because just the theory would only not clarify everything. So how do we do that? If I go to starter GPO, excuse me. So everyone on starter GPO?
Starter GPO was built in. You created this.
No, it is already there.
Built in.
Everyone has a starter GPO, right? Click that. Create starter GPOs. Now there are by default many templates available where there are policies which Microsoft think that you might use for different for firewall ports. There may be a starter GPO for that. That maybe there's a company policy. So if I right click this and I'm not able to edit that, but I can see the settings. I'm just going for, so first you click starter GPO.
Yeah.
Then can you all go to firewall, reporting firewall ports, second one, right?
Yeah.
Then you go to settings on the right side.
Where is setting?
Yeah.
How will I figure out I have to double click here and single click here?
Experience. Once you do it, next time you would know. So,
Double click?
so here single click.
Yes.
On the right side, there's a single click as well. Okay. So, computer configuration. It has some standard policies that Microsoft thinks that if you want to report a firewall port, what firewall ports are there for the computers and servers, you can attach this starter GPO to any new GPO. So first of all, I'm just saying that right now Microsoft has created certain policies for certain topics, certain areas. Firewall area, it has created a starter GPO, right? XP and Vista, it has created a starter GPO. We may not need that. It's just a sample. Let's create our own starter GPO. So starter GPO, right click anywhere here in the area, or just right click on the starter GPO and click new. So if you click new, then company standard policies, and in the comments boss said implement this or I am fired. Okay, that was just for fun. Yeah, right. So company standard policies, do not write the comments. It's okay. I mean, just for fun. In comments, you can actually write, I am blocking USB, I am blocking CMD, I am blocking this, just for your comments, right? For if I am creating a starter GPO, I would put as much detail as possible. For myself, if after 1 year I visit this and I say, oh okay. Otherwise, I'll see in the settings as well what I've implemented. But comments help and save time, right? So company standard policies, I've just named that starter GPO. Press OK. Company standard policies. Press OK. Everyone did that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's there now. Right click the company standard policies and edit. Every two there? All right. Administrative templates and user configuration. Everyone there? So starter GPO, first of all, you may have noticed that it has limited set of policies that can be implemented in starter GPO. It does not have a software folder there, which means software deployment is not possible by default with every policy. Of course, that doesn't even make sense. So, excuse me, I'll go to control panel. First one, user configuration, administrative templates, control panel, and click standard here just to see the screen clearly. Click standard, and then enable all four. Hide specified control panel items. Okay, specified. How can I do all four? If I click enable, yeah.
I can see all that.
Okay. So user configuration, then administrative templates,
Yeah.
control panel.
Yeah.
Did you expand that?
Yeah.
And you do not see all those? Okay. You're on server 1. It's a domain controller. Regional language options and oh, user accounts is not even here. Well, everyone else is seeing exactly that. Okay. So what do you see? We'll just change that. Cool. Because we need to understand the starter GPO. So what happened? No? Whoa. So maybe it's just affecting that second line.
Yeah, it's just this area.
Is this area something radiation coming out from projector? Okay, if I close now, I'm closing it. Okay, there's nothing here to do. Right click the company standard policies, edit.
If you log in as a user, maybe that's
User
no.
server 1 is administrator, right? You guys are logged in as administrator. This is not even a question, but of course you're logging from administrator. User 1, you cannot log anyone, right? Okay, so I'll just go for some other policy which has no conflicts. Desktop. You guys see desktop? Okay, first 4 policies, just enable those.
What is it?
No, there's something.
You're seeing them?
Yeah.
All these?
Yeah.
Okay. Log off, login. You don't see desktop. User configuration or computer configuration?
They're in computer configurations.
Okay, Timbits for both of you.
They're in,
On both of you.
yeah, they're in the long.
No, there are two settings.
No,
User
they're in the
configuration.
configuration.
They're in computer configuration, right?
Even the user.
Hey, you're not watching the board. Senior. What's the Spanish for you're not watching the board? Okay, forget it. Spanish. Okay, what's the French for you're not watching the board? French.
Uno walk the car.
Vous ne voyez pas.
Faire attention.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Not paying attention.
English, please.
Wow, you French. Cool. Okay, so it's user configuration, right? You see that, right? Okay, so control panel. Control panel, last four policies. I'll just go for control panel, last four policies, double clicking the last four policies. First one of the last four, which is hide specified control panel items. Enable, show, and then I have to have that value, so forget that policy. No. We need to have those in WMI filter kind of language. So if I click OK, it's not gonna. Yeah, okay, cancel that. Let's not add that because we need to add some scripts there. Always open all control panel items when opening control panel. Okay, double click second one. We don't have to add extra. Hey, there are hundreds of policies here. Apply. Okay, so I am second policy is always open in control panel. Third policy is prohibit access to control panel and PC settings. So second policy just enable. We need to see if it gets copied or not, right? Prohibit access to control panel and PC items. Here it's saying always open. Here it's saying prohibit access.
You are enabling it right here, right?
Yeah. So
How you are doing this?
so double click,
Double click, okay.
double click, and enable.
Okay, so you have to go to other window.
Exactly. Yeah. Press OK, and let's see if this is a conflict. But double click. Second one, prohibit access. Yeah. Let's see that too. Yeah, all three. Two enabled. No. Don't go for the comment. No, it doesn't mean anything. There's a enabled option should be there. Show only specified control panels items. Okay, I don't want to specify anything, so two policies will be there. So always open and prohibit. These policies should be copied from starter GPO without us touching the new GPO, right? So we'll see that how it works. So two policies I've enabled on control panel in administrative tools in user configuration, right? Every two did that? Okay. So I have that command prompt open. Everyone has that, right? And up arrow for the previous command, enter GPO update / force. Every two there? Alright. Gracias, amigos. Okay. Okay, two policies are enabled. And this is a starter GPO. I am going to close. If you have enabled, just close the starter GPO now. Close. Right? Everyone there on the same page? Literally? Okay. So the page is closed. Starter GPO is configured. If I want to see those policies on the left side, I'll go to the company standard policies. And now in settings, if this is already open, so first on the left side, on the last, I think our newly created company standard policies is there on the last, right? Everyone can see that? Yeah. Now on the right side, settings, everyone is on settings. So now here it tells me in the control panel, I have enabled two policies here. Exactly these two. Now let's create a random new GPO, right? Well, I'm saying random, but it's just a new GPO. So let's go out of starter GPO. Let's forget that we created just now. Maybe we created it on the last week. Okay, everyone go to the group policy objects. We need to create another GPO that accounts department requested us for the New York branch. This is separate from starter GPO. Starter GPO is done, right? Whenever we create a new GPO, we will just attach that. Now we receive a request from the New York accounts department for a new policy, new GPO. So we are on group policy objects. Microsoft says always create any new GPO in this folder. group policy objects, right? So this is for New York account. So I'm just going to right click group policy objects. So we forget that there's a starter GPO right now. For now, maybe we configured starter GPO 1 week before. Right click group policy. It is a request from and new. So accounts. No, sorry. New York accounts OU request. We're gonna configure that request. It will be another policy that they want just for their branch. But now we need to implement the company standard policies as well, as we know. What do? It's pretty obvious now. We click drop down here, and there's our company standard policies. Although all 2 policies for control panel, we will not touch it in this newly created GPO. We are adding just this, attaching this company standard policies. Whatever policies are implemented inside this company standard policies will get copied automatically to this new GPO, which has been requested by New York accounts OU, right? Till now clear? So those 2 control panel policies, we're never going to touch it now. They should be copied there. Okay, press OK. We have created a new GPO for the New York accounts OU, but we haven't configured anything inside that. So we go to the email, we see the request. Oh, okay, they want something to be enabled or blocked. So I'm just going to go to the newly created network New York accounts OU, because we have to configure it. Right click, edit. This is the department request, right? So okay, so I'm going to user configuration, and the department said to change their password policy, right? Windows settings. This has nothing to do with starter GPO. This is the department policy for that branch. So I'm just going for security settings. So first I'm going for user configuration, then I'm going for policies, then Windows settings, then security settings. Everyone there? Okay, where are you? Oh, no software restriction policies defined, public policies. So we go to public policy, public key policies. So security settings, public key policies, and the last one, auto enrollment. This is the department policy that we are just making believe that it's a make-believe policy that the department requested to enable the auto enrollment of certificate services. This certificate services in the third 70-412. This is a huge lab. This is a security feature where you are given certificates to your network assets for multi-level security. Yeah, you were saying?
No, you are still, on that screen.
Hey, you are in good hands, man. You're in good hands. But let me know.
It's better I will listen to you and I will watch it so I can have idea. But I'm always left behind.
Okay. Yeah, the point now is understand.
Yeah.
That's also good policy.
Yes,
Yep. Yeah, doing this but you will be fast when during the middle of the course.
I will get the
Yeah. Oh yeah.
request from you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But please, when you make them, please make them real.
Okay.
Right? So do not miss any step, right?
Oh yes.
Right
But
now I will pay
yeah,
attention.
it's good to refer the video as well whenever you can.
Yeah.
Not the whole video. Just fast forward to, you think that it's after 2 hours we did that. So you can fast forward just for reference. Oh, click. Okay, done. Don't see the whole video. But I'll try to make all the steps very detailed, right? This will be...
So because I'm in this, right?
No, it's just that you need to get used to it. I mean, try to use more during the week if you can. Because if you don't give time, then this field requires a lot of attention. Yeah, so when the servers are given to you in an environment, you're expected to know each and every corner of your operating system. Each and every corner. The more time you give, you will understand. The less time you give, yes, it will be difficult for you. Yeah. Try to give more time. Okay, so Okay, I'm just enabling this policy, not configured to enabled. Certificate services client. This is just a make-believe one. We're making enabled for that New York account. So you apply. I'm just enabling both options and apply OK, right? Again, I was in user configuration, policies, Windows settings, security settings, public key policies, and then here the third policy I enabled it, which was enabled. Enabled. Everyone there? Every two also? Cool. So,
Oh, I checked the first two?
no, just the third one. Even if you enable the first two, it's okay.
But you mean like the very bottom one, right?
Yeah, bottom one. I'm on the screen. Yep. So,
No, inside that.
oh, double click.
Take the first two. Right?
Oh, okay, these two. Sorry.
Yeah,
Enable and these two. Okay, the main thing is that this policy is enabled. It should show in our settings outside when we are looking at the policies, which policies are set. Press OK. Okay, I'll close this now and do what?
What did it just do?
So we enabled the make-believe policy, which was requested by New York Accounts Department. What make-believe means that we're just randomly opening and enabling a new policy, which was requested by Accounts OU. What we're trying to do here, we have received a request to create a new GPO, but we do not want to go through the steps of enabling the control panel policies, which is a company standard policy, right? So we are creating a new GPO. We are enabling anything new, but we are not touching the control panel policies at all. Where did we enable the control panel policies? Where?
Starter GPO?
In starter GPO. We attached the starter GPO to this new GPO. That's all we did.
So this is all that happened.
This is all that happened. Now,
And what was the point of this auto enrollment thing? That's what I don't understand.
yeah, this could be any policy requested by the department.
But is this to enable the starter GPO? Is this what they want
Do we have to do this, or
No.
this is just for the sake of showing it?
Yeah. What we're doing, we're just trying to know that when we create a new GPO and we attach a starter GPO, what results are we expecting? Any policy in starter GPO should be copied automatically to the new GPO. Whatever we do in the new GPO doesn't matter. Whatever. Maybe in a production environment, they give you a list of 14 policies. As soon as you attach the starter GPO, whatever's in the starter GPO should be copied automatically to the new GPO, any new GPO.
So normally we could skip this step, right?
We can, I was just enabling one policy, so it should show also in the settings. Otherwise, even if we skip this step, it doesn't matter. We just need to know starter GPO policies get copied or not. That's all, right? So GPOs are force. Now the final thing only we want to confirm is what? Those two control panel policies should be inside the New York Accounts OU. How we make sure that they are there?
Double click in settings.
Either we do that or, oh yeah, we just do that. If I click the New York OU's request, do we have the starter GPO policies or not? I'm going to New York accounts and then settings. Do we have the two starter GPO policies as well? Control panel, yes. So one policy which we enabled for the department was security settings, public key, and this is the policy we enabled for the department. But what came automatically from the starter GPO was administrative tools, control panel, always open all control panel items, and prohibit access to control panel. These two automatically came from starter GPO. We did not have to touch that in the new GPO. So now again, Toronto Accounts Department also wants to create a new GPO. So I'm going to quickly do that now. We receive another request from another department. Just create a new GPO for me. I'm again doing the same thing to prove the starter GPO thing, right? So right click the group policy. Now another department says, okay, please change a policy for me. We're gonna make believe that. So this is the
question.
yeah.
We used to when we created new, we clicked the Toronto, right? We didn't click the new policy update.
We click the Toronto. Yeah, actually, this area we can create the policy directly on this OU or any OU. We can directly do that. Microsoft best practice recommends to create any policy first here, group policy objects, then link it to any department. So I explained that as well last time, that why we are doing here. We can do directly here, but we are doing here because of the Microsoft best practice recommendation.
No, we didn't link New York House.
Exactly, we didn't link that.
We didn't link it yet.
We should create it, then we should link it as well. We did not link it.
Up there in Toronto, we don't need to link.
Right now, we were just testing what if the starter GPO policies get automatically copied to any new GPO we create, right? Yeah. Afterwards, we are supposed to link, but our main purpose was that do they get copied or not. So if I create a new GPO again, just to prove that point again, Toronto accounts OU, this time I'm not going to create any new policy here. I'm just going to see if the starter GPO policies get copied or not. So I'm just going to attach company side policies again to a new GPO, which was requested by another branch department in another branch, Toronto accounts OU. So I'm just adding this, press OK. Now at once I should see, at least without touching that new GPO, I should see the starter GPO policies there, right? Without even going. So Toronto accounts OU, this was just created. I did not go inside like this, edit, and I did not change anything here for this GPO, new GPO. At once I see control panel policies from starter GPO get copied right away. So any questions for starter GPO concept? Can anyone tell me in brief what is starter GPO?
Like by default, to save our time, we create GPO, which is called starter GPO. So there can be different department, account management, security, and stuff. For example, if different departments, they ask us to make changes in their departments. So if I have already built in GPO, which is starter GPO, I don't need to do all those steps again and again and again. I just add the starter GPO, and then the request which they made, I'll add that to that. And that's simply.
So company standard policies, we don't have to go again and again when we are creating new GPOs for different departments.
So basically, there's a collection of policies in one GPO that you can apply
to any new GPO, because these policies are company standards. Company wants these policies implemented whenever you create a new GPO. So these will be, you don't have to manually go to those control panel policies when you're creating any new GPO.
You said this was introduced in 2008?
Yeah. So Microsoft takes feedback from all over the planet, then they add new features in new releases. So this is a very interesting feature, starter GPO.
And one more thing, is there any way the GPOs can override the other one or no?
If there are conflicting GPOs, so one says open all control panel items, second says block all control panel items. So which takes precedence? Which will get implemented?
Maybe enforce it.
General common sense says the latest one. That's common sense, right?
That's a good common sense. Exactly, this is the case. So I will show you a page for that. It was coming in the after another lab here, but since you put this question, it's a very interesting question. I'll just show you a diagram which just answers this question. So if there's a conflict, which policy will get implemented? This is the diagram for that.
The latest one.
Exactly as you said. So what does that tell you? There's a processing order, and then there's a precedence. At the end, GPO, whatever is implemented on the GPO gets implemented. The latest, or suppose there's a policy on the domain level, site level implemented saying that block all group, all control panel items, while on the last, on the OU, it says open all control panel items. Which will prevail at the end?
Okay.
Because
Because the latest one.
as you said, the last one. So first it will say, oh, I'm getting this. So the user is logging in right now. It goes through local group policy. Oh, it says block. Then site, okay, because it's from the site it picks up that, okay, it's blocking. Block the control parameters. Then domain inheritance, okay, block. And OUO, it says open all. Since this is the last one and I have to implement whatever is at the last, so OU will be implemented. Whatever is on OU will be implemented. If it was on the upper level, which is conflicting from the lowest level, then the lowest will take precedence.
No, but if on the OU there are two policies which are conflicting,
Oh,
then what will happen?
that's also a good question.
Right?
Sorry?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
was saying that what your question was, I think that if on the OU
Yeah.
there are two conflicting policies,
Yeah.
which will be implemented?
This
Because
is
that's hierarchy,
another
right?
good. This is a hierarchy,
Yeah, this was my question.
and
Yeah.
let me show you that now. If you have, let me show you here the number. If there are two policies, let me link another policy here. So I'll link another policy to the accounts OU and show you now. Link and Toronto, okay, OU request, press OK, and then there should be two policies. Okay, yeah, so there are two policies. Whichever number, if one policy is in direct conflict with another policy, the highest number wins. Now what do you see here?
Number one.
Highest.
Block desktop.
Highest like in quantity.
Then two.
Two will implement. It's an order. Oh, you don't want two? Okay, just click that and make one as two. This will get implemented first. In direct conflict. So that's a good two scenarios you gave me. It was coming, but this is very good question, good timing. That precedence wise, and then on the same level if two conflicting policies are. So definitely we should know.
You said we can use the block inheritance, right?
Precedence wise, if block inheritance is not there, enforce is not there, but still there is a conflict between two policies, direct conflict, the lowest one, the OU level will be implemented, the above level will be discarded, ignored, if it's a direct conflict, right? So that's very good points. Okay, so software deployment, if you want a break, software deployment has lots of steps.
I think it's better to take a break because we cannot go any longer.
Okay, break and then software deployment over the GPO. This is really something you want to learn. I mean, the first thing in Active Directory, when you say, they would know, they would ask you, okay, software deployment, you know that. So how we do that, what type of software we can deploy, then we're going to deploy something. All right. Yep.
I was not able to give you the Gmail account, so I don't have these lectures. Like I missed last lecture.
Resuming now. Okay, so we will be going for the software deployment over the group policy, which is very, very important, and it's not only important in the interviews as well, but also this task is given to administrators that, okay, can you just deploy this, any Microsoft Office. Even people have deployed MS Office over the, this service from group policy. Software services. So let's try to know things about this. So if I type here software deployment, you will see that, right? Yes. Software deployment, and in this, first of all, it deploys applications, and well, need to put some space here. Okay, it's not gonna work. It deploys applications, and so I'm going to simply use GPO software deployment uses deploys apps with .msi extension. .msi extension. So majority of the, so I'll just write majority of the Microsoft applications do have .msi extension. So the deployment procedure recognizes .msi to deploy anything on large level. So you have like 80,000 users and you want to deploy anything, for example Adobe Acrobat, or this is a third-party tool. So third-party vendors also create their MSI version, of course, in order for the mass deployment of their software across all the desktops. Microsoft MS Office you can deploy, and there is Google Chrome has released its .msi version, so you can, otherwise when you
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say, so like companies like, I'm sure something that I work for, let's say that they want every user to upgrade from Internet Explorer 10 to 11. Can
Yeah.
we do this?
Yeah, we can do that. So that's an update. That's a good question. First, the actual software, if it's already there, then the updates has another extension. For updates, we use .msp extensions. For languages, there may be some language updates you need to do. So they are MUI. They are called MUIs, but they are also included in the .msp. So you can also create. We can also create third-party software with MSI, or we can actually embed. You can say embed, or we can create a MSI tool for third-party software deployment, which do not have, or which did not release their own MSI extension version of their software. We can, so there are MSI creator applications on the internet available, which does that, but there are some good ones are expensive. We can also create third-party software MSI, packages. Yep.
Did you type that wrong? MSP or is it actually
.msp. That's it. Oh yeah, there are some mistakes here. Deploys, spell checker. This is a manual spell checker. Okay, done. Extensions. What? That's correct, man. Oh, that's not correct. Maybe I meant that. So we can also create that third-party software MSI packages with MSI creators. So people, or especially with programming background, they actually embed a software that they are tasked by the non-technical management. Hey, deploy this across all those 2,000 computers. Thank you very much. Bye. That's it. Now you're like, what? And so you have, so there are many solutions in the market for software deployment. For example, you want to just deploy OS, any kind of OS on an empty machine, and these are like 2,000 empty machines, just OS. So by any chance, would you suggest any software that can do it effectively? Just an operating system, Windows 8 drivers, that's it, nothing else. SCCM is one software, so we're first exploring that what other solutions are in the market. So SCCM, which is Systems Center Configuration Manager, the very effective tool and a lot in demand, great in demand, because it does everything. You name anything you want to deploy, you want to change registry configurations of thousands of computers. SCCM does that. Deploy MS Office, deploy OS. So this is OS. If there is OS, of course, plus all applications, a working machine and drivers. That's a complete package. You have 1000 machines, empty machines. You need to you are given the task of deploying Windows 8 on all with drivers and applications, MS Office, Adobe Acrobat, and Google Chrome, etc., etc. So you can deploy it with SCCM, with WDS, with MDT, and so I'm still first the only OS, and WDS, which is Windows Deployment Services. This is also a Microsoft product. Windows Deployment, and yeah, this is our lab tomorrow. Services, Windows Deployment Services. Then there is MDT. What is the abbreviation for MDT? Microsoft Deployment Tool. Okay, deployment tool. Okay, sorry, Microsoft. Then there was one job announcement, opportunity where they were saying you should know SCCM as well as Adaptiva. So Adaptiva, there's a third-party tool. So I just wanted to have an example of all the deployment technologies which are famous, which are companies are acquiring those, purchasing those. So if you get a hold of one of these, it's good. And so this is like OS or OS plus applications. But what about what we are doing? I did not mention GPO in any of these. So now we come to applications with .msi extensions. Whoever has those, or if we want to have, there's a .zap extension as well. .zap extension as well. This is for third-party software packaging that group policy understands. Group accepts or understands. So if you have a .msi extension for Microsoft software, I have 3 right now, Google Chrome, and so I should email you guys those. And also, if you want to embed a third-party software, and if you cannot have a .msi extension for that, if you cannot create a .msi extension for that software, then you can also, then group policy also understands a .zap extension, which is a totally third-party tool, right? So creating, so first of all, let's one thing to make sure: GPO can deploy applications, but GPO cannot deploy operating systems. That's on higher level. Microsoft has a separate product for that. 3 separate products for that. These are all Microsoft products: SCCM, WDS, and MDT. All 3 Microsoft products. They're perfect with lots of features for imaging. Anyone else knows any third-party imaging software? There are a lot. I can tell you.
Adaptiva is not Microsoft.
It's not Microsoft, exactly. There is Acronis.
From where?
From Acronis. I think it's the company name as well. Adaptiva is also the company name. Acronis. Then there is another imaging software, which is Ghost. They're all very, very famous and very much deployed. Then, so there are these many deployment technologies. You will find these in every job opportunity for Windows.
So these are servers?
So yeah, there you need to purchase the license, then you need to install servers, install this application, then deploy it on hundreds of empty machines.
What's the difference between all these? I mean, if a company goes for opts for Ghost and they don't go for SCCM, so is Ghost a simpler technology, or is it like cheaper, or what?
Many of the features are similar. Some SCCM is a very powerful tool for deployment, for making changes throughout the network, for uninstalling. So when it comes to, if you have SCCM, you don't need any other. Also, SCCM makes use of WDS as well. So it's a single console that makes use of MDT, makes use of WDS, And also there's a patch deployment technology by Microsoft called WSUS, Windows Software Update Services. This is just for patching. Your Windows needs patching, right? Every month Microsoft has security updates to patch, and at home our Windows get patched maybe every week. It's automatic on internet.
But the WSUS comes with Windows Server 2012.
So WDS comes with Windows 2012 installed and free. WSUS comes with in 2012 and 2008 in all the versions installed and free. And we're gonna do those. We're gonna install those. SCCM is a separate. You have to purchase that. It's very powerful.
How do we know we need patches?
Updates for Windows. So it's automatically released and automatically updated by the Windows if your Windows is connected with the internet, and the option is enabled there. It's automatic. We can change the options of manual, but it's by default it's automatic.
Yeah, right. Last night when I was shutting down before,
Oh,
updates and stuff, stuff.
so it asks the option. Okay. Yeah, these we should always say yes. So these are all the technologies we should know. Excuse me. SCCM is a separate course. Anyone has experience with SCCM? Ever heard of SCCM? What's that?
For
Deployment as well.
no, it sounds similar, but it's totally different.
Mm-hmm.
I use something called SSC.
Oh,
It's for basically user and financial services, all management of like.
okay.
Which is totally complicated.
Oh, okay.
That's why I always get confused.
Mm-hmm.
Call it SSC.
Oh yeah, abbreviations. Yeah, there's too many. So let's go for GPO. And what are the? So one thing is sure that we cannot do heavy work with that. If you want to deploy Microsoft patches, we have WSUS. GPO will not do that. If you have operating system to be deployed with all the applications and images, GPO does not do that. So whatever is MSI extension, MS Office has that. Many countless applications have that. Microsoft applications have their MSI versions released. We'll go for, and many third party have also released that because they want their software to be deployed across the whole domain, all the users and computers. So let's go for the steps for GPO. For the software installation, GPO software deployment, and we need a central shared folder. First of all, if we go for steps, we need a central shared folder where we can keep all the .msi software. Create a central folder, then configure GPO software setting to use this shared folder. There are two ways GPO is deploying all the software. One is assigned, and the other is published. So, what are those? Assigned means forced installation of a software. Published, optional installation. So the user wants it, okay, you can have it. It's published in your control panel. If you don't want it, it's okay. It's not gonna bother you. Optional installation of the software. So we're gonna try these options in group policy software deployment. So steps, central folder. Yep.
So I have to right now create a shared folder.
Yeah. So yeah, follow. I'm gonna do that, and let's do that together. And follow me, folks. So everyone on DC1.
So what's assigned and what's optional?
Yeah. So assigned is
Password was different. What is the password? 1, 2, 3.
ABC shift 1 2 3.
One password.
Okay.
No, I forgot.
So assigned is forced installation of a software. What does that mean? User has, sorry?
Like we
have to get it.
We have no option to.
Yes. So user has no option to say no to that. Excuse me. Just like WSUS, there are options in WSUS. Oh, not WSUS. When you are patching your Windows, you do have an option, but then you can go to control panel and change that option to just download and install. And so it just pops up with, hey, you have 10 minutes or 5 minutes before it restarts. You can have that option. So this is more like forced option. So assign only means that if you deploy that software, the user logs in. As soon as user logs in, it starts deploying that. But
No option to stop it.
no, there is no option to stop that. But user must have installation rights. For make sure that user have installation rights. Otherwise, the software has embedded administrative privileges already, where user is not told anything, and it's a background silent installation. And then there is publish. In control panel, the software will be published, and user will be told that if you want to install, just go to control panel, double click that, it will open. It will start installation, it will open, or it's your choice. You want to initiate the installation, it's okay, otherwise it's just sitting there waiting for you. So published and assigned. So I'm just going to go and create first the shared folder. So the major steps would be, let me just put that to here. I'm just putting here instead of the board because later. Major steps, number one, it will be, so create a central shared folder, then put your MSI software there, configure GPO to use this central shared folder, then create a new package, so we call it a package, and choose, well, we create a package, but we need to choose which OU users computers will get it. So I'll just add the step, choose which OU to deploy software on. So we will right click that OU, and then we're gonna go to group policy editor, GPME software on. So choose that OU, then create a new package and deploy, and either assign or publish the MSI software. Okay. So major steps are these. I'll send these steps. Okay, every two are writing. Cool. Done? Alright. You guys are fast. What's wrong with you?
My computer is not working.
Yes, slower than you.
You should chat a lot, you know.
My computer is not charging for me.
Why?
Something I want to try.
This is me. You know, I
Yeah.
know how to use it. Put it in the middle.
Yeah, that's good.
That's not a problem.
So this is mine now.
But yeah, that's
I
good.
Yeah.
can take it.
Yes, you can take
And
it.
spilling coffee is not allowed on the laptop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's not allowed.
Yeah, otherwise, yeah, it's a policy. Okay, so I'm going to the first server on the domain controller, but I just wanted to check if my server 2 is really obeying me, because
What is new for me is, I know the share folder, but what is central share folder?
no, this is just a central location we are saying. It's not a technical term. So we just make a shared folder that will be used by this GPO to pick up the package and deploy. That's all. So user 1, I'll just check if it is obeying me, and oh, thank you. Oh, I think it's gonna be not right clicking. I need to right click actually to get the software installed.
log in as user 2 or user 1?
I logged in as user 2, so I'll log in as user 1. That's good. Good idea. User 1 is okay for me, I think. Sign out. User 1 should be able to right click. No, I logged in as user 2. And both, because I enforced everything, so both are not. Let me just change the policy. Okay. Hurry you up, lady. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm just going to remove these. We learned that, and we don't need that. Block inheritance, remove, right click, and enforce, remove, right click, and what do we do at the end? Just GPO/force, enter. So the enforce and block policies are block inheritance. The policy is still there. The inheritance thing is removed only. So let me remove the policy actually. So I don't need policy blocking. So I'll just uncheck the link. So the policy should be unlinked from my accounts OU, right? I just don't want it to be linked to that. So it's still inside the group policy objects, and if I F5 it, now it's not linked, but I need to delete it. If I should have deleted the link instead of unchecking it to get rid of this policy just for this accounts OU, right? Because I now want to use the user 1 and 2 to deploy software. So I need the desktop for that as well.
The policies on
The link one. So the actual policy is inside here. Yeah, group policy objects has this is the central repository. Wherever it is linked, only the link is deleted, right? So whenever we delete the link, we did it last time, that when we delete the link, it doesn't matter. Sorry? Yeah. So block desktop is just deleted from the accounts for you, but it's still there in the group policy objects, which is like a central repository of all the policies.
Just deleting the link, you're not deleting the object.
Exactly. Even if you delete that, it's okay. I mean, we don't need that. No. Delete the policy. User 2, user 1 should be free souls now. Okay. Cool. In short, the user 1 and 2 both should not have the block desktop policy. So I just deleted the link under the accounts, and it's enforce and block inheritance doesn't work anymore because there's nothing to do there. Oh, control panel. Okay, so you know what? In New York accounts OU, which is also attached to the accounts parent, I blocked the control panel as well. I need the control panel for this next one. So this policy is also linked to the accounts OU, right? So basically, under the accounts OU, you see any policy, just delete that. Delete any policy you see inside the accounts OU. We're going to create a new policy, and we don't want a conflict. So in a production environment, there's always a web of policies. So you always have to plan very carefully which policy conflicts with which one, and do I need that still for that department where I am asked to implement another policy. In our case, we just tested it, that's it, it's okay, we don't need it anymore, so I'm just deleting that. In production environment, I would not do that. So under the account, I had two policies, I'm just deleting both. I don't need those policies anymore, right? So the links will be deleted, but actual policies will still stay in the group policy objects, right? So now accounts should not have even the child OUs and the main parent OU of accounts. They don't have any policy now.
I still have the exclamation mark.
Oh, just
Right click and yeah, cool. Okay, so now my account OU looks totally clean. I'm going to create a new GPO here on the accounts OU. That will be for the software deployment. Okay, right click the accounts OU and then create a GPO in this domain. Yeah.
You're going to make it on accounts, but not going to make it on group policy. Object and then link it.
You got it. Best practice. Okay, if I create directly here, what will happen? If I create directly on accounts, it still creates
In group policy.
in the group policy objects as well.
But that's not good practice.
but that's not a good practice. It still creates that. Best practice always is create to the group policy objects, and that's a good reminder. I was just going for test environment. I don't care. No, we should follow the best practice, definitely. So right click group policy objects, new, and then software deployment. We do not need starter GPU here, right? Or do we? Okay. I mean, like, it's the starter GPU we know as an administrator were the blocking of control panel. We need control panel now. So yeah, we do not need GPU, but the thing is, it's not a company policy thing going on. But if it was a company policy, I would have done that. Press OK. So I would definitely, if the company standards conflict with the next task I'm doing, then I have to go to my manager and ask, hey, I'm not deploying this company standards because the task has been given by the management. So this is more like a political thing, that I'm deploying software and the company standards actually blocks some of that. So I'll go for manager that I'm not deploying for this particular, so keep it in the, so I would need approvals, that's all. Approval from management and higher management, that's all. They would say, oh yeah, okay, go ahead. Okay, software deployment, press OK. Now there is software deployment here. I'll just link it. I didn't edit it anything, but I'm just linking it to the accounts department. How do I do that? Right click and link an existing GPO and software deployment.
You can drag and drop it too.
Exactly, drag and drop. Okay, since we did last time the link thing, let's try to drag and drop this time. Either if you've done it, it's okay. So software deployment and drag and drop to accounts. Do you want to link the GPOs that you have selected? Yes. Okay. So before we try it, right click. Now drag and drop also works. Better go right click. Drag and drop is like a rough thing, and when you have production environment, just being careful. But now we know that drag and drop works, right? Anyway, so now I'm just going to start configuring it. Before that, I need to create a shared folder, and I need to put MSI packages. You need MSI packages from me. Let me just give you where I'll upload it to Dropbox and send you the link, right, to your email. It's just small software.
You're logged in as administrator or user?
From
Administrator. From server 1, right?
Yeah, administrator. Okay. MSI software, acro read I have, and the group policy. I'll give you the 3 software, or you know what? Let's just go for acro read. MSI acro read. This is just 3 megabyte. Others are 78 and 140 megabyte. So it's third-party software. Copy, go to Dropbox.com and drop the item. And do I have a software? Okay. And okay, there's no copy paste here, of course. So upload, choose file, and use CentralSoft, MSI, acroread, and yeah, super slow drive is actually now solid state. Done. Okay, the link is and new topic. MSI software. We need to download it to, so I'll just give the link. Post. Check your emails, click that link, download that to the C drive of your domain controller. So I'm just gonna copy from here and go to the C drive. domain controller, and minimize. Wow, still have to go down. Anyway, so C drive, I'll just create in C drive a folder called soft. So new folder in C drive of our server 1 domain controller, SOFT, software or soft. Double click that, paste, acro read. The main thing is we need to share it. So everyone created a new folder called soft inside the C drive of server 1. Yes, no, maybe. Okay. Maybe later. That's a good one. Soft. Okay, right click, share. Share with specific people. So when you create a soft folder and you put the acro read there, then right click, share with specific people, and the most specific people will be everyone. Oh, well, we can write it or we can just select it from down there. Yeah, here's it. Oh, yeah, soft. We can name it anything, but okay. So and click add to everyone. So let me know if you read this screen. You selected, drop down menu is selected everyone, and then click add. So share, I'll just go there again. Soft, right click, share with. Okay, specific people. And then, you know, drop down is everyone showing there already. If you click the and click add, and it should, by default it's read, which is okay. Every two did that. अरे छोड़ो यार, कॉफी के बाद भी नहीं, वैसे ये थोड़ा स्लो है, वो पहले मैंने भी करने की कोशिश की थी. अच्छा, तो बड़ा करें स्क्रीन को. अच्छा अच्छा, अरे तो अच्छा. Okay, so share. So share. Okay, this is done. We need that shared link. How do we do that? So we need a shared link. I will go to run of this server, // name of the server is server 01.
Why do you put
Two / means go to the network. Go to the network, then go where on the network? Server 1. So it means / means go to network. Server 1 is the destination, or IP. You have to put the destination after that, so it understands that over the network I need to see what is the shared resources this network asset shows. So I just want to get the shared link. I could have gotten from there as well while I was sharing, or I can go specially to look at the shares of this domain controller, right? Shared folders of the domain controller. So everyone knows that. Go to run // the name of the server, press OK, and the soft folder is shared there already, right? If I double click the soft folder, the link above shows, give me the path. Just double click that, // server 1. You don't even have to go there. You would know that if you have shared the soft folder by the name of SOFT, then this is the shared path, // server 01 / soft. You don't even have to go to run. You can just type directly that it's understood. You can just still test it that it is working or not, right? Every two there. Is it understood? Is it? Oh, okay. When? We can give and remove access. So I shared folder, I can give permission to just administrator. So even though we can see that folder, normal user, double clicking would access denied. Yeah. So take and remove access. Give and remove access. Yeah, sure. Okay, no problem. Yeah, the evening class will say, what happened? No, it's okay. Okay, so everyone got this share? You got it? Okay. Okay, you got it? Yeah. Okay. We need to just copy, but where? That's also 6 or 7 steps. So I just need everyone to be on the same page. Yeah.
Over there, instead of how you have the path showing there, I have like network and then.
Oh, you have to click it. Then it will show this path. Otherwise, it shows this. Yeah, you're right. So click on this screen, it will show the actual path. Otherwise, it will show network. So everyone, just if it shows like this, click here. It will show. It will give you a different display. Otherwise, if you click anywhere here, it goes back to this. Okay, so we just need this share path and right click and control C. Everyone did that? Okay, so now where do we need to go? First, just right click and copy it, so it will be in the clipboard. Now we need to go further steps. So everyone on the same page, right? Except for the first line.
Actually, your control is not.
Why? SSD. Oh, okay. It's something else.
I told him this will come to that. You have to be
Very patient and polite. Yeah.
It's not Xbox 3. It's not PlayStation 3, 4.
I didn't know that.
Okay. So, okay. Right click, copy. This I'm coming for the 4th time. I'm going back to the GPMC, Group Policy Management Console. And in fact, we have opened editor. Okay, that's from the previous. Ignore that. Okay, everyone on GPMC, right click, software deployment policy that we created, and go to edit. Every two there. Edit. Now, for the software deployment, we will just go to user configuration, policies. So first is user configuration, policies, then software settings, and exactly right click that. So we are right clicking software installation, going directly to properties, not new. Going directly to properties and just put the path. So click the properties, everyone there. At once you see that window, Control V or just right click and paste. Yeah.
As I'm getting recorded now, so these steps are also being recorded. So like as you said, you go to this part, so please mention browse, so your voice will be recorded in that.
Cool.
Steps will come in that.
Nope. No, that's
you know what,
okay.
Honestly speaking, I'm used to one day I give it to Nam. He was doing whatever he was doing, he was mentioning, and I did everything at home by this recording.
So I don't have to write that.
No, you have to.
Where's my wall? Okay. Okay.
Giving him white hair, man.
See, it's already standing. So okay.
Browse column we have to write, right?
We don't have to browse.
No, but in front of the browse.
in front of the default package location, under the default package location window, we have to. I need coffee. I'm just kidding, man. Yeah, this was just for the video. Okay, so yes, sure, why not? Actually, that's a good idea because in the video as well as I'm doing, I should say that there are many options. Okay, this is the only place where we put the path. Now we just create a package and deploy. As long as the software is there, we are okay now. So we're just going to put the path here. That's the only important thing. Apply, okay, and so we have connected or linked this software deployment to accounts OU. So this means only the users of accounts, the child OU users, and if there were more child OUs, everyone will get that. So we need to be very careful where we are deploying that. Maybe there's just one branch in Toronto branch needs it, not the whole accounts department need it. So we need to connect this to that branch, not the parent OU, right? If the requirement was just for the branch.
Do we click OK after we copy paste the?
Yeah. We click OK and right click again, software installation. Now go to new and there's a option called package. Everyone there? So right click again after OK, right click again, new, package. Everyone there? Yeah. Okay. Package, and this will ask, okay, of course we have just one software here, AcroRead. I will also send the links for the other software, which is Google Chrome and Adobe Acrobat 11. So
MSI file.
those are exactly MSI files. So double click that. Double click that, press OK. Oh, double click would open. So you will see after a few seconds there will be a line showing that there's a package being deployed. So double click. Oh, sorry. There will be, so first we'll publish. Yeah, so by default we'll publish. Then we're going to turn this package to assigned to another computer, or we'll unpublish that for. So everyone selected the publish? Press OK. So everyone, this screen, those who have selected OK, it's OK. And just on the background, you should be seeing now a line that shows that. OK, let me just press OK. I was waiting if anyone is there still. So give it a few seconds, or press F5 here. The line should be appearing here, which shows that the package is being ready to be deployed. Or refresh. We did press OK, right? Not cancel. Yeah, it takes time. Press OK. And one day the line will come. Like this. Okay. So it already says publish, but there are more options now. If you right click this package which is already in the process of being implemented to the users, it's already doing that now. It has started its work. So right click this. We just want to see what other options are there. So if you right click this package which is already published, now go to properties. Everyone there on the properties? So there are some options that we may use in the future. So deployment has publish assigned. We can change it anytime. Auto install this application by file extension activation. So it has an extension of MSI actually. So if there are any other MSI you double click, it's going to activate this installation as well. Any MSI. Uninstall this application when it falls out of the scope of management. This means that if this policy in the future has been deleted, so maybe there are 1,000 clients who received this application. So if this is deleted from here or some changes were made, it will be uninstalled automatically. So somebody deleted that application because maybe it's not required. So, and do not display this package in the add remove programs control. That's where we're going to go on the client side. By now it may be appearing there in add remove programs. Do not display there. If you don't want to display there, then what do you want? So we're going to see there in the client side where we want to we will be seeing, we expect to see that package. Install this application at logon. This is for assigned. So do not click apply, just click on the top assigned. I'm not clicking apply, and please do not click apply. You see now that install this application at logon is enabled. Go back to publish, it is disabled, grayed out. So it's an option for assigned. That add logon, just throw it at the user. So okay, there are this option, these options, and upgrades. As you were saying, upgrades, the .msp package would be required for the same software. You were saying Internet Explorer. So the update, so Microsoft would have and has released a .msp extension package for, so it will only recognize that, and it will add that and deploy it, and you know, if you published it, it's going to be an option. If you assigned it, it's going to be forcefully adding that extension. Categories, select the categories under which this application will be listed in add remove programs. Add remove programs have categories. Okay, we're going to check that and then we're going to come back here. Modifications, modifications or transforms allow you to, so modification is just like the update, but update is you know, major change. Modifications could be any smaller change in the software. So that could also be the .msp extensions. Security, you can add or remove whoever. So authenticated user means whoever is part of this Active Directory. But we have connected this to the accounts OU, so only users of accounts OU who are authenticated users. Of course, they will only appear when they are created in the Active Directory. So every user with whom we have connected this will be added. If we remove this, then none of the domain users will get it. So these are some of the options we should know. By now, okay, when we make a change, we go for command prompt. Yeah, I did. Did I? So right click, properties. Okay, so command prompt, up arrow, GPO /force, please show me now. We're going to go to the client. So it's going to be the user we have implemented the policy on, right? There's one more thing to understand. In accounts OU, we only have users. We haven't dragged server 2 in accounts OU, which means what? Wherever the user 1 and 2 go, the policy follows them, as long as they are logging in from the domain joint computers, right? So if we drag server 2 as well there, so server 2 will get this policy as well right away. But excuse me, we have changed this policy. So if I show you this, the path, we have made changes in the user configuration, right? So this policy implements only on users, right? So user 1, user 2. If we drag server 2 in the accounts OU, let me show you what I mean. Here, Active Directory, and we only have users in accounts OU. One user here, and Toronto accounts has one user. So if I go to computers and move this or drag and drop this to accounts OU, now there's a user and a computer in accounts OU, but we have implemented the policy on just a user, so it does not affect the computer. If we have a computer policy implemented, then you have to drag the computer there as well to that OU, and then the computer related policies will implement on the computer, right? But this is just user related policy. As long as the computers are joined to the domain, that user logs into any other domain computer, then user will see this software in the add remove programs of that user's profile, wherever in the domain user moves in the add remove programs. So in another computer where AcroRead was not installed, the software is going with that user, right?
So it means that
it's published for that.
OU, and
Yep.
we drag and drop any object in that OU. If that has a group policy, that will automatically apply on that object
Yeah, yeah,
as well.
yeah. So whatever is on OU, user or computer, because policies are just about for users and computers.
Yes.
So whichever user you drag, at once the policy will implement on that user. You take the user out, the policy is gone.
You don't need to link
No publishing. Sorry.
You don't need to link that.
So the policy is linked to the OU.
OU, yeah.
So if we drag the user in from another OU, the user will at once get the policy. We drag the user out of that OU, and the other OU does not have that policy, so the policy will be removed. So the user will not have that effect. User will not have that software, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that if we had put a computer policy, we would have dragged this computer here as well to implement the policy on the computer, right? This is just a user specific policy. Okay, I've done the add remove programs. I was just giving this example. I'm just dragging it back to the computer's container. So user 1, I'm just going to log in from user 1 in server 2, and I expect in the add remove programs the program called acro read, which is there for publish, which means it's an option. It's not an installed software yet. When we double click, it should start installation. So I'm in the user 1 log. Sorry,
User one.
user 1, user 1 or 2, both are in the same parent OU. If it's in a child OU as well, that's even better to check user 2. Does user the child OU inherit that software policy? Of course it should. Anyway, user 1, I go inside, and you know what? I was locked out. I mean, like I have to, so I need to sign out to check this policy. So I'm just going to sign out from user 1 and then log in from user 1 again to make sure the policy did implement. Oops, password. User 01. Where do we check? So we open the control panel, and let's make this screen bigger. Control panel. So I'll just go to the right side and go to the settings, and control panel is there. Everyone got that? And where do we go now? Programs and features. Programs. Add to there. And programs and features. Install a program from the network. Okay, good. Adobe Reader 9.3 is there. Then the policy didn't reach. Anyone else has it?
Where do we click? After programs, we click what?
Programs and features.
Yeah.
I'll go back there. So I'll just go to programs in control panel. Everyone there?
Yeah.
Then programs and features. Then this is where optional programs start showing up. Install a program. You have it? So who does not have it? You don't have it? You don't have it? You don't have it?
Sign up. Oh,
You were following?
there yet.
Oh.
Is
Hmm?
there even up there?
Did you sign in from user 1?
Sign up, Tom. Like, you have to sign out first and then.
Did you sign out and sign in?
Yeah. You think it's probably locked?
User 1, right?
Yeah, if it's locked, then log in, but then unlock it and then sign out, sign in. Yeah, I was locked, so I unlocked it. The screen opened, then I sign out and sign in. So you did sign out and sign in, right?
Okay, not now.
Adobe Acrobat.
Yes, it's
Pure? Restart. It's showing. Cool. So you had to sign out again to do that? Again, 2 times.
twice.
Oh,
I had signed out before.
okay. So maybe it takes time, or the second refresh took it.
I clicked switch user. I don't know if that was.
Oh, so this means switch user is just, one user is still signed in.
Do we click install?
Yeah, let's double click and install, and it should be giving an error. What error do you expect? This is a domain user that has no rights. It's a nobody in the domain. This guy is a nobody. Which means what? Cannot change the network settings, cannot change some other settings in the firewall control panel. So domain users do not have the rights for installation of software as well, unless you do what? Have you ever given a rights and privileges? Okay, let's go and check if this guy is a nobody or everybody. Okay, next. Install, is it installing?
Sounds barely. Just sitting there.
Maybe some error pops up that, hey, you need to give installation rights. If not, okay, then still I never gave. So if you want to give a domain user rights for installation, what do? You add that user to the local administrators group of that computer. Okay, once that message pops up, I'll do that. All right, what does it say? Requires Internet Explorer 6 or greater. Oh, that's just a requirement. That's not that. What? I don't have it. We don't have Internet Explorer 7 or 8. 9.3 requires 6 or greater. Hey, 2012 has latest internet, or not? 11. What are you trying to tell me? We have 11. 9.3 requires 6 or greater. Please visit blah blah blah. Anyway, setup was interrupted before 9.3 could be completed. So this is not installation issue. I mean, this is not that error. Your system has not been modified to complete the installation at another time, please. So we need to have some software installation. Okay, you know what? I have those software. I can quickly show you that if I publish that, so it's in MSI Soft. Okay, there are AcroRead, Foxit Reader, and then there are this Google Chrome. Google Chrome, I think, would not need Internet Explorer. You know what? Okay, I'll just put it quickly to the Central Soft, MSI, and I'll. So this is this is 42. I'll just send you this as well because we need to assign as well. So it's gonna take 2 more minutes. A Foxit Reader, 41 and 17 megs. It says Internet Explorer.
No, this is a feature you're trying to use is on a network resource that is unavailable.
On a network resource that is unavailable. That's a different error. Okay, I'll just go for Google Chrome. Same error? So yeah, software deployment. So it published, our task done. But yeah, there will be more errors coming and we need to sort them out. If we have it on the test environment, the same machine as the user in the production environment, then we will get that error in the test environment. Then we need to sort out, okay, what's the problem? Maybe it's an old software. It's not compatible for 2012. It's made for Windows 7 and XP. So that's why I'm uploading a Google Chrome here, 47 megabyte only. Yeah, it's there now. And yeah, we tested always. Okay, this is the Google Chrome link and Google Chrome MSI. So I am sure this will not give any error. Well, fingers crossed, sure. Okay, it's in your email. I'll just quickly put it, copy it in my C drive soft. It's going to be again present there. Then I'm going to create a quick package, publish, and so I'm just copying the Google Chrome here because it does not need the environment. It's available for. It's compatible with all the types of operating system. So in server, I'm pasting the Google Chrome MSI installer to the soft folder. Now I'm going back to the group policy management editor, software installation, because it's already there. The shared folder is there. So I'm just going to create a new package for a user. There it is, Google Chrome. Double click that, publish. Okay, publish that as well. Press OK. I know I'm not going fast.
No.
Oh,
We're just going a bit slow.
a bit. Hey, that's a good. I'm not going fast. You guys are going a bit slow.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to appear. Since we did those steps, I'm just putting it for the record of the video, and still it takes a little time to appear here. Yeah, I did F5. I'm doing it quick, continuously. Okay, Google Chrome is appearing here. 65, 66 version published.
Is it called Google Chrome standalone?
Yeah, that's it.
Paste it in soft?
Yeah, paste it in soft folder. That's it. It's gonna appear in the new package. then you need to package it. That's all. New package, publish is already selected there. Everyone got this? Google Chrome? I'm just going to quickly show that it should be published. So up arrow, GPO publish as force. Now it should be implemented on server 1 and 2. 2 only. As soon as it's successful, I'm just gonna sign out and then sign in and try to install Google Chrome. Sign. Okay, server 2. Hey, since I'm there, pressing F5 won't. Okay, I didn't have to sign out and sign in. I just pressed F5 and Google Chrome is showing there in the publish. So was added to your Dropbox. Okay, now it's added. So if I double click in, I'm logged in with user 2, user 1. Okay, user 1. So I'm installing. So let me know if you're stuck at some step. It's just yeah, sure. I'm just doing it quickly just to show, just to see if the errors come here or not. What I'm expecting is that the user does not it does not have rights to download or install actually. Soft C drive server 1. Pasted it. Okay. Here. So you have that group policy editor open. If it's not open, then you can go to Group Policy Management Console, Software Deployment, right click, Edit, and then User Configuration, Policies, Software, here. Right click, you also tried it? Wow. Okay. So you're there?
We are just starting.
What? No, but you have so many resources now. Me typing, me talking, me talking. 3.
So what did we do?
And you saw.
We did a new
Yeah, sure.
overview.
What is the overview? We can deploy software from group policy objects over the group policy, but we cannot deploy OS, any kind of operating system we cannot deploy. There's another feature for that, another software for that, which is WDS, SCCM, servers for that. So with group policy, we can deploy .msi extension software only. So we got 3 of those. Google Chrome has released its .msi extension. Adobe Reader has released its .msi extension, which can be deployed from group policy. Group policy can recognize those. So then we created a shared folder on server. We placed those Google Chrome and Adobe Reader in those shared folder, and then on the group policy, we created a new group policy for accounts department only. And on accounts department, for the users of, not for the computers, we can have a software deployment for computers as well. For the users only, we created a 2 new packages. So 2 new packages. Hey man, you're too loud. Oh no, just kidding. Just kidding.
So we created a folder on the C drive, right? First,
yeah.
on the server 1.
On the C drive.
And then we created a group policy.
Yeah.
Which was applied to the accounts department.
Yeah.
For the software deployment.
Yeah.
Of Google Chrome.
Of Google Chrome, and there was another Acro Read. This one.
So mine installed it.
Full.
Yeah. So I have the icon now.
Cool. Double click the icon as well. Sorry? Anyone, because they are both part of accounts. Again? Hey, I also got the icon. I also got the icon here. But can you double click the icon?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm also double clicking the icon now. So what's the error now? Can you read only the?
Well, when I go in software installation and I try to add Google thing, it says account verified.
Oh, maybe it's the shared folder permissions problem or something. Maybe you did not hit that.
मेरी मशीन तो ऑफिस रेडी नहीं थी,
Sorry?
मेरी तो ऑफिस मशीन रेडी नहीं थी, मेरे को भी पासवर्ड नहीं था, मतलब मुझे बुला हुआ था मैं
So for the last 2 weeks you didn't run this machine, right? No, the machine got lazy.
Need your help right now.
Yeah, so when you try to
Don't worry about replica.
replica is वो same stuff.
हाँ वो same is.
हाँ वही मैंने कहा कि मैंने लिख लिया था पूरे में.
नहीं वो same है. Thanks very much. But you know what?
हाँ ये तो मैंने सारे करे.
Just
we just need to wait.
you know what?
That was already and there
आपके टीम में आपके I आपको कर दे सकता हूँ.
So we're going to server 2 and then
This thing is taking
long,
bro.
oh, it's like a card. That's fine.
And you know where to go and check?
So it's click next to choose your default browser. Is it doing the installation full for you or well basically or it's ready to use? But you are not yet. Okay.
I did it up till 74.
Okay. Now it's changed.
फोल्डर बनाइए मैं बताता हूँ. पहले एक फोल्डर बनाइए. See right.
Oh, you know what?
एक फोल्डर बनाइए. and ये फोल्डर बनाइए. Right में से कि new.
What's the name?
यही करना है बेटा. Server one.
What's the error?
बनाया server one PC जो जो भी फोल्डर में server one भी है ना. इसको new कर देना. New folder. Folder की जो है sharing.
They're open. Okay, cool. So it's like ready to use.
ये दबा दिया.
This users. So
दोबारा
get that out. So user 2 should already have it. Can you sign out from here and sign in from user 2 for sure the other user and GPO? So
प्रॉपर्टी नहीं लेंगे. रेडी करेंगे. शेयरिंग.
So the path is
Yeah, it has
So for the shared devices, we have to look at shared path. Or the network device. That part is
शेयर हो गया.
Ready. Oh, so cancel that. We don't have refresh or sign out anymore. No, we can't use it, but this user is working. Won't work at
Okay.
So the shared folder that we created,
so that
we shared it with everyone.
Yeah. And it's a read permission.
And now server 2, from server 2 we can access that also.
Yeah.
Right?
It will have all the machines in the domain will have access to that. Yeah, you were saying? Yeah.
Oh, you named it as info. So you log in from Azure? No, with the user one. Oh, okay. Now it should empty. Now it's now sign out, sign in.
और GPO अपडेट मैं लिया ना
Thursday, huh? No, just kidding. So, oh.
So when we
Okay.
when we try to access that folder from server 2, we're only getting these log on and sys.
Okay.
Why is that folder not showing?
So if you share it,
The fact that you don't access these two and then you know the word,
This is the other one. That's on server 1. This is server 2.
so you only speak what is with your parents?
Yeah.
Just the parents.
Yeah. And you don't use that word in your regular.
Yeah, I know. Well, you use that when you're living in Pakistan.
this $3 more comfortable. Now you have only seen this.
It's on the C.
What did you create a folder?
You did?
But you already did that.
Only software.
Where's okay, mainly you created
Maybe we need some other one. We can do this new one.
yeah, but I need a software. Okay. Where's the software activity? Or Google Chrome? Yeah, I'm immediately.
तो कल डाउनलोड कर शेयर में डालें इस सॉफ्टवेयर शेयर में डालेंगे थोड़ा ठीक वो करके भी ठीक इसको शेयर कैसे करेंगे राइट क्लिक करके एवरीवन से शेयर करेंगे हम इसको
राइट क्लिक शेयर विद एवरी स्पेसिफिक पीपल उसको ये ऐड
राइट क्लिक करके प्रॉपर्टी से
ये भी इससे चूज और ये शेयर तो हो गया और ये लिख गया ऐसा बैठकर सर्वर 1
तो ठीक ओके नाउ वी डाउनलोड
मुझे पॉज करना चाहिए था ये सारा टाइम रिकॉर्ड हो गया ओके सो एवरी टू yeah now I can launch a case and earn millions from you. Negative. That's a big negative. Okay, so yeah, it's we did some troubleshooting as well. So okay, all hands on that. Yep. Oh yes, there's a lot more. Okay, half an hour worth of more. But yeah, what we're doing, if you're understanding, that's, although there's a lot more. Anyway, so there is a software deployment tomorrow as well, which is mucho importante. No, it's like this. Much more complicated. Just much more. Hundreds more steps than this. Because we're going to deploy OS. Then OS plus applications, take an image of that, a working computer, put it on a empty PC over the network, and then it should be working fine. And applications, and then take an image of that. That's what happens actually in all the companies.
There are two Google Chrome MSI and MSI software. So both
Anyone or both. Google Chrome.
Well, my question is, you said your deployment of OS.
No, we can do it from WDS as well. No, not from GPO. It's nothing to do with GPO.
Okay, so it has
WDS is also free inside this. It's a WDS lab.
केबल चेक करूँगा आपका ये अगर मैं यहाँ से देता हूँ
Sure. एक सेकंड हो गया नहीं मजाक और W530 सेम है डिफरेंट है
W510
5:10. 5:30. लगना चाहिए. Okay, guys. Is it done, or you want to see the video during the week? That was Italiano. Oh, that was good recording. Okay, guys, let's do something more and use up our time. We will have the video, we will have the written steps, and but we if there's more troubleshooting, then we have to do it a little later. We wanted to understand the major steps of doing something, but we will get troubleshooting, of course. We need to shoot that trouble one by one, but we can give not more time for this. So let's go ahead. Group policy, filtering. So there are many other features excuse me, for group policies. If I go, sorry, so yeah, I'm just gonna show you. So yeah, guys, let's just throw one software by just doing the publish in assign. In fact, if you right click this and assign, and when you assign this, right click and properties, and see, so simple. I did all these steps. Okay, cancel out. Can you right click Google Chrome? So we just need to assign something. If you're there already and you've published, yes, we have published. We know where to go to publish, right? But if we right click Google Chrome and we click assign, first let me know if you have done that. If you clicked assign instead of publish, then go to properties.
But my publish is grayed out and assigned.
Click assign, yeah. So right click Google Chrome, click assign. Everyone did that?
Yes.
Properties, second tab, deployment. Now the option is install this application at logon, but since we already have that installed with user 2, we need to create a user 3 to check this one. As soon as user 3 logs in, you will see Google Chrome being available right away. Then there you will see the icon right away, which was not the case when we logged in from user 2. User 2, we had to go to add more programs because it was an option for us.
Right.
User 3 logs in, at once you should see that. It's assign means at logon start installation. So click that, apply. We implemented this change on accounts for you. So GPO does have force, but we have to create right away user 3 in accounts for you. We cannot now test it on user 2 and 1, right? Because I think installed on both already. So after this, I'm just going to quickly go to Active Directories and Computers, right click Accounts OU, create a new user to test the assign feature. So right click Accounts, click New, click User, just user 3, just like user 2 creation, just like user 1 creation. Type user 3 in front of first name, then type user 03 under user logon name.
I don't have the option to create users.
Okay, again, what? Huh?
After we create it, we can test it.
Right away. Make sure user 3 was created inside accounts for you, because the policy is only implemented for accounts people, right? Next, ABC should 1 to 3, ABC should 1 to 3. Uncheck user must change password at next logon. Uncheck that. We don't need that extra step.
Oh, it says installing managed software Google Chrome, like right when it's loading.
Right now, then and there it should start. Assign is forced installation, right? So, user 3. For the record of the video, now I've created the user 3. I'll just up arrow this GPO force. The whole thing gets updated. Or does it? Okay, successfully completed. Server 2. I'll just go to server 2, sign out from user 1. sign out from user, since I logged in from user 1, and sign in from user 3 exactly. So user 3 should right away start loading that. Okay, installing managed software Google Chrome. Cool.
Yeah, now this comes with the icon.
Right away. Okay, so it's not optional. Pretty fantastic. That's a forced. That's like 2 words forcing. Okay. Yep. Okay, so let's go for other features. Well, a sign is also shown now that it starts right away while the user is logging in, but it's allowed to install software. Anyway, we'll try some bigger things later to prove that some more detailed software required permissions. Okay, that was Internet Explorer. So let me just go to other features here. So delegation. What is the meaning that comes with that? So you're the system administrator. You have lots of other tasks, and you have long list of separate different departments asking for, hey, apply this policy just for us for that child OU, and there are a long list of that. So you delegate that task to another guy. So delegation would be just adding that user, that other user, to help you sort out these problems. And this means you're giving privileges and permissions to that guy to mess with your, or to use, or to manage, not mess, manage your group policies. So delegation is, if I quickly go there, I want to delegate a user to handle the accounts OU related group policies. So I'm going to close the editor, and Active Directory on computers is there, accounts. So I'm just going to go back to group policy console. So if I want the user to have delegation for the default domain policy, which is not a good idea, I'll just go for software deployment policy. Maybe there's you saw there were many options that you can modify, many options, upgrades, MSP, .MSP, then .zap for the same department. There's so much work for just the account department that you say, hey, can you help me with that? I'm just gonna guide you with everything else. We can do a lot of tests. So I'm delegating you to do all the tasks for software deployment policy that has been assigned to the parent OU of accounts department. So when you go to delegate, these groups and users have the specified permission for this GPO only. So GPO based permission. It's not like I give permission for that and you can that user can change for default domain as well, and there are many other GPOs here. So I'll just simply click add. So if I go to software deployment and then go to delegation tab, on the bottom you see add. So I just added user 3 and I'm just gonna delegate that user 3 to check name, yes, press OK, and so now you can see the permissions. Obviously, what level of permissions? User 3 can only see it, or edit settings, or delete, modify. Yeah. Permissions. The whole delegation thing you're saying?
Yeah.
So delegation is to let someone help you with the tasks of modifications or any changes in this group policy, only this specific group policy. So delegation is to give privileges.
Giving authority to someone to do something, I'm going home. So that means
Okay, I get the message, underlined message from there. Yeah.
That means the delegation is always from higher authority to lower.
Yeah, exactly. You're the system administrator. You're going to delegate someone to help you do these tasks for you on your behalf. So hence the permissions. When you can see the screen, as soon as you add and give the user and press OK, it says what level of authority you're giving. I mean, that user is going to or can prove to be your biggest mistake or your biggest pride or whatever. But anyway, so edit settings, delete, modify security, or just edit settings but not delete at least. So this is the so we'll just go for the third one, and that's how we add a user, so the user can log into any. So user 3 has Windows 7. How do you give this interface to a user? I mean, user 3 will not be logging into a domain controller to get this. So Windows 7, user 3 has just Windows 7, and user 3 has been delegated to help you. You need to install RSAT tools on the Windows 7 for the user 3. After that, user 3 will, in his Windows 7, will get all the Active Directory links and group policy, anything related to Active Directory, but user 3 will only be able to make modifications only on this software deployment. But you need RSAT tools, RSAT, which you can type in Google and download. So that tool gives all the Active Directory links for any Windows 7 Vista machine on the client machine. Okay, so this is delegation. Let's go ahead quickly and excuse me, go for.
The user has to install these tools.
So administrator can, if the user has the privileges to install locally, yes. Otherwise, administrator will. You can just deploy RSAT to that, but the GPO deployment is for mass installation. Yeah, you can just remotely log in and install that if user does not have the authority. Normally, these kind of users, if you know the user, you give the authority locally. We did that, deploying software, managing software group policy, assign and publish. Enhances software distribution. Yeah, we did that. Assigning, publish software. So assign is forceful installation, publish is optional installation. We just tested those options and it did. Auditing. So you put audit on a specific folder. If anyone makes a change, the event viewer would tell that there was a successful access made to this folder, or there were 5 failed attempts to access this folder. So success attempts and failed attempts are recorded. And wouldn't you get suspicious when you get failed attempts? Somebody is trying to guess passwords, or somebody is trying to access, yeah. So there is always a failure and success, events that are audited for a specific resource. First, I'm just going through the slides here, which are now maybe clear. So auditing from GPO, you can enable auditing for any network resource. So this is the path where we can go, because these are all the screenshots already taken. Excuse me. For computer configuration, policies, Windows settings. So I'm just going to send the screenshots. The whole slide. Windows settings, yeah, and then security settings, audit policy. Since the time is limited, I'll just show you. First, we have enabled audit object access, right? And it says audit object access for success and failure events. If a person is logged in successfully, record that. Okay, this is a the person was allowed. And if it's failure, especially tell me that. So if the 3 or 4 failures, you'll be suspicious. You're supposed to be. Then we have to go to a folder. So I'm in the server C drive. We create a document called doc to audit. We right click that document. So these are screenshots. I'm explaining it, or shall we do it? Now we have WDS plus a little of that too. So security. So I'm just going to send the slide because these are screenshots. You should be able to do that. I'll just explain that. You have to create a document. First, make the change in this area. Every path is very apparent there. Then you go to the C drive, create a folder, soft. Inside the soft, docs to audit, and then right click the docs to audit. There's always any folder you right click, there's a security option there. So you go to advanced, whatever is yellowed here. And then go to auditing, and then go to add again. So these are just a couple of thousand windows. So then you go to select a principal after seeing this window, and then press OK. So if you add the authenticated users here, this means that any user which is a domain user tries to access docs to audit folder will have an event created for that user. So I'm suppose my user domain account is Amir A Shahzad. So first name, first letter of the first name and the last name. That's normally how. So A Shahzad accessed doc to edit, and it was a success event. This is how event viewer will show me. And then there's another A Arif tried to access, and it was a success event. So this means these guys at that time access this folders. It was maybe a third person tries it 3 or 4 times. The event will show if the person was not able to log in. So it will show that. So authenticated user means all the domain objects, all the users will be, if they try to access this folder, their events will be checked if they were success or failure. And they have these rights: read and execute, read rights only. So this is the second step. Then all events, so they will be given the rights. First the authenticated user on this folder, authenticated users, right? Then they will be given, so you just follow this, give all the rights, click all, then select modify, read and execute. And you can add a condition here as well, which we will add in the next screen. Add a condition to limit the scope of this auditing entry. Security events will be logged only if conditions are met. Okay, so add a condition. We clicked here, and okay, there's a user. You need to, so you have to match exactly that condition according to this user, group, member of each, and that's it. Leave the other values alone. We just want to in the end see if the events are created when we double click that folder over the network, right? So press OK. Then this should be showing exactly like this. Whatever we done, this should be showing, all should be there, and authenticated users should be there. So then make a change there in their folder. So I created a notepad document there, and then I made a change. I did modification. So this, in the event viewer, you should be seeing these events: audit success at this time, and if you go for docs to audit, any event that was related to this document, doc to audit. So there will be events started showing there, security, and there will be more information here, right? Info is ID guy. Wow, it even got my Gmail account. What? Okay, anyway. So there's another success event on server 1. So this is how we are asked to check for events for all the, if the server went down, what was the reason? We go through these events one by one and check all the details, and then we try to find out this is why the server, this is the reason why the server went down or some major event happened. So you know what, I'll send you this slide. If you're able to do it, okay, otherwise we'll do it together, right? But auditing is something that you should know how to do, and it is always required. And you are asked as a system administrator, hey, I want to audit this folder because directors, managers and CEO is checking this folder regularly. So if there is an unauthorized or somebody tries fail attempts, we should know that somebody is trying to hack that, right?
So when we create the auditing policy, or
yeah, so first is the auditing policy is created here in the computer configuration policies, Windows setting. So all the steps are yellowed. Then go for that folder. Inside this folder, security, then all these steps, advanced, add, auditing. Only you have to add authenticated users for this folder in auditing. So yeah,
if you don't create this, then you will not be able to,
you won't get any events if this second screen is not fulfilled for that folder. So first screen on the server side, second screen on the folder that needs to be audited. So you need to keep an eye on certain folder from all domain users. That's the way. And then you need to know how to read the events. So these steps are exactly done. Then only you make a modification, the events will be created in the event viewer. Like this, audit access, and it will be here in the event viewer, the security events, not the application log. The security log will have all the success and failure events for that particular folder and other events as well.
So it means that there are certain events or auditing policies that have been created by default also?
By default also, not for particular folders,
Okay.
but for particular areas of the domain controller, especially the logon folder and as well as some other areas, and the events get created by default as well.
By default as well, right?
Yeah.
Because if you go into event viewer, we see a certain
Yeah,
events, you know,
so many events are already created there, so they are by default. Yeah, but if we know how to create this, we can keep an eye on many of the folders that we create. So I'll send you this slide now, and I'll make the documents complete as well. So tomorrow also we'll be doing a little of this, but then we are going to go for deployment of OS and images with WDS. That's a long but very critical, very important lab.
so you already sent us all these slides for 34?
Um, did I send a link for that?
I don't think there's all these slides.
Okay, so I think the core slide is there, so this slide will also be joining that. It has many, because group policy is huge, so they are, and they're all steps. They are screenshots and steps.
Send us all the slides.
Yeah, this one slide has like 119. This PowerPoint has 119 slides of it. So I'll just send the whole thing. It has many features. I mean, we cannot cover each and every feature because there are hundreds of features there. But we have covered what are day-to-day tasks which are mostly asked and you would get in the exam and in interviews. And we need to do GPP, which is group policy preferences. So how to redirect a folder and how to publish a printer for all the users. So there are some critical policies there as well that you do daily. Okay, guys. So tomorrow, more interesting software features are coming. Let me just close that.
I did send you.